Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and this is Friday Night Tights for June 28th. Yes, it's the 20th. The month is almost over, and it's kind of a slow news week, but we made up some stuff to talk about, and I've got a couple of very special guests. First off, we have Comix Division in Parts Unknown. What is up, my friend?
Oh, you know what? I actually made videos this week. That's kind of what's up.
Yeah, the world is ending.
It is.
Hell hath froze over. And we have a very, very special guest who we need to have on much more often because I love this good Christian white boy. It is JosiahRises. What's up, my friend?
What's up, everyone? How are you all doing tonight?
We are good. We are good.
Good.
And I might throw the link out to some other people. We'll see what happens as the night goes on. I'll keep an eye on my Twitters. Greetings, everybody. Yeah, the big news of the week is freaking Charlie's Angels. So
hyped. But I am so hyped for that movie. It's honestly my most anticipated movie coming out now. I can't wait.
I was waiting for the articles that said it's time. Charlie's Angels. So let's think about why they're coming out with the Charlie's Angels, because I think it's a nostalgia double dip. So in the late 90s, early 2000s, the 70s were very popular. So they were remaking a lot of 70s stuff. So they remade the Charlie's Angels films, or they made from the series. They made some films. And now we are dipping on nostalgia from the late 90s and early 2000s based on the nostalgia of the 70s from the late 90s and early 2000s. So it's a nostalgia double dip. And you're just taking all the best stuff out of Charlie's Angels, which is it's sexy. It's basically objectifying. And now we're gonna have our woke Charlie's Angels. Everybody, how do we feel about this?
Kristen Stewart, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see more Kristen Stewart. Like, she's obviously the best actress working in the industry right now. So I think her being in this movie is going to be huge. So I'm excited for that for sure.
I don't know how many of you, you guys right here and everybody in the chat, how many of you just thought Hollywood is dead? Like, this is it. We've reached the end.
After watching it, I completely forgot I even watched it.
Yeah,
it just was so not memorable.
Yeah, I like, it wasn't even like bad. It was just like, this is a cable TV show and they're pushing this as a movie and they're trying to make Kristen Stewart the sexy one, which is funny. I mean, maybe this will be hilarious. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Hollywood's dead. Yeah,
it didn't like feel like overly woke to me like the Batwoman trailer has been and stuff like that, but it was just so boring and cheap, and it just felt like a really crappy movie. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be woke, we all know that, but it didn't really feel as woke as Batwoman, but it was the quality
there was
some terrible
stuff at the beginning though.
There was a little bit in there, but
well, they mentioned they mentioned this is going to be a less objectifying, more intersectional feminism. Charlie's Angels in previous articles when they announced they were going to do it, and then that one guy in the beginning of the trailer, like holding Kristen Stewart up so she could punch him in the face. Yeah. You know, he's like, "Okay, I'll hold you up, and you punch me in the face now." Okay, thanks. You know, with her elbow. Which whatever. Again. This movie is going to make $5. It's not even worthy of us talking about, other than it's the end of Hollywood.
It really is.
With Dark Phoenix, Men in Black, with the Herminator coming out with this film, it's, and Toy Story underperforming. That must be scary. That's got to be scary.
That's crazy.
That movie got pretty woke from what I heard.
I didn't see it, so I have no idea.
I didn't really think it was woke, to be honest, but.
I heard it was more kind of like a step aside, older generation kind of thing.
To me, it felt like they wanted to go woke with it. Like, there's a lot of moments in there that it was kind of alluding in that direction, but they never really went all the way woke. Like, it felt like they wanted to. So
Bo Peep didn't go to Buzz Lightyear. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Oh man, thankfully no. But I mean, if that happened, then yeah, it would have been over. I probably would have just walked out with trauma from The Last Jedi ringing in my ears. So
Well, yeah, I certainly hope not. I loved the Toy Story movies. They're
exactly.
freaking great. The third one was brilliant, and yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm lamenting about right now, and this is kind of ties into the whole Hollywood is dead thing, is there's a film that was in production. Well, it was kind of more pre-production development still. It's called Mouse Guard, and this is a film that I've been really excited about. Fox was going to be producing it, and then after the whole Fox Disney deal, Disney canceled the movie. I don't know if you guys saw the demo, real thing for it. But man, that movie amazing. Looked so good, and it felt like one of those lightning in a bottle type of movies, that high risk, high reward type of movies that we have gotten in the past and stuff. Those types of movies that just kind of stick through many generations to come, and Disney just canceled it. So I've been lamenting about that recently. That's been one of the things that just further shows that Hollywood truly is dead. All they care about are sequels, reboots, and prequels, and all of that crap, and not even good sequel, prequel, and reboots.
Yeah,
usually they're even worse. So yeah, it's not a good time.
It's kind of funny. Speaking of reboots, they had on cable TV, they had the reboot or the remake of RoboCop. And we're like not even halfway through it. My wife's like, let's just put the original one on. And we watched the original. As cheesy as the original one, it is far superior to what came out years ago. Or a couple years ago, I should say.
Mouse Guard was based on a pretty damn good comic book, which it never sold great, but it sold consistently. And I'm not gonna show the footage. Unfortunately, I don't want to get. I'll show it like a second of it. Like, let's see if we can see a second of it here. Let me get. Oh, dude, that looks amazing! Holy crap! Well, that's blurry,
dude. That's nice.
I'm like really not getting on the good spots here. Here we go. Wow. Yeah, that looks cool, dude.
Yeah, it looks so good, man. If I encourage everyone to go watch the demo reel, because it truly was amazing to watch, and it's really sad that this movie.
That's so ridiculous.
Exactly.
I think somebody will pick that up. That looks ripe for some, like a Netflix or an Amazon to pick them up. And
you think Disney would be all over that shit?
Disney's gonna. I've done podcasts on this like a couple 3 years ago. I should probably rehash them. And they're my Star Wars versus Marvel podcasts, and my co-host at the time just didn't believe me, and that's fine. But when Disney, Bob Iger is considered a genius, because right out of the gate, he bought something. As soon as he took over, he bought Pixar. Like, he's just purchased things. Now they've been very wise purchases, but the thing is, when you own these things, you need to produce things that these things own, and these things cost tons of money. And when you pay $1 billion for this thing, Star Wars, and $1 billion for Marvel, and believe me, everybody at Disney thought Star Wars was a better purchase than Marvel. They thought it would be a more profitable purchase. At the time, it certainly looked that way. It was a bigger fandom. But Marvel is bigger than Star Wars right now. It just is.
Absolutely
better. And Star Wars, according to one of my old co-hosts who worked at Disney, the inside dope that he gave me was Star Wars was cheaper for them to make because Lucasfilm was in-house, and the stars weren't as expensive. And there was a lot of reasons why Star Wars was cheaper to make. So that's why they favored it on top of that. But now they're shifting everything apparently to Marvel, but they can die under the weight of their own franchises, because if either of these things doesn't like uber perform, it can't just perform well. They have to uber perform now. And it's the whole thing when you have to satisfy stockholders. A business breaking even, like doing, like if my comic shop, there's a couple of years where I just made the same amount of money. That was great for me. That was awesome. Consistency, brilliance. That's terrible for stockholders. So they have to constantly outperform themselves, and every time something is a hit, that raises the bar, and now they have to now the MCU has to produce, now that Captain Marvel made $1 billion, the next Captain Marvel needs to make $1 billion or more, or
it's not going to, though.
It's not going to. Endgame beating Avatar, that's great. The next Avengers movie needs to beat Endgame.
But there's a lot of diminishing returns that these people don't get. You're not going to be able to maintain that. You're not going to be able to continue to break the $1 billion box office hit.
But the stockholders and the bankers who are making these decisions, who know nothing about genre, don't care. They just go, why? Hey, an Avengers movie made a couple $1 billion. Why didn't this Avengers movie make a couple $1 billion? And I've been talking about it on a couple live streams. And like I said, on my last live stream, I've done so many, they're all kind of bleeding together right now. So sorry for repeated information, but bankers are making nerd decisions, and they just aren't very good at it, frankly. And we've seen this. And now they can't just roll out a superhero film and it be successful. They have to actually put some work and time into it. And maybe, I don't know, talk to some people who know what they're doing. And this same goes for Star Trek, same goes for Doctor Who. And listen, on paper, Doctor Who supposedly has somebody there who knows what they're doing, but they don't. And this is becoming a huge problem. You take the MCU out of the equation. I guess Aladdin you're the movie guy, Josiah. Aladdin is doing well.
I honestly haven't been following Aladdin that closely.
I heard it was.
But I heard that
it was performing well.
I thought that Aladdin was doing pretty surprisingly well, actually. So
yeah, that's what I heard as well.
Yeah.
And then they got The Lion King coming out, which is an animated remake of an animated movie. And
but it's live action, Gary. It's live action.
Okay. Yes. It's
live action with CG.
So the mantra we're taking everything that Hollywood says at face value. And it's kind of shocking that I'm seeing some of my fellow YouTubers. I woke up this morning and see my face on a thumbnail. I'm like, that's not my thumbnail, because I don't put my face on my thumbnails ever, and I never will. And if I ever do, I want you to slap me. If I'm ever doing
God, so who made a video about you?
Anti-Trekker. It wasn't really about me. He was just talking about Kurtzman. Anti-Trekker's a friend. We love Anti-Trekker. Right. But I just woke up this morning and look at my phone like, what? So if I ever do those thumbnails where I'm like, just unsubscribe for me immediately. I'm done. No, thanks. I can't.
Sorry, I have me on my thumbnails just making snarky comments usually.
That's fine. No, that's fine. No, it's like you guys see enough of my face in the videos. You don't need to see them on the thumbnails. So I digress. So with the Kurtzman thing, we've been going back and forth for 2 weeks, and I know some of my subs like really hate hearing about the stuff, and I'm sorry. It's almost over. I'm kind of gonna wait till Star Trek convention for that to pick up again, because I'm moving on to different subject matter. I have said my piece. I am moving on, and especially since I learned some new information today, which is freaking crazy. But we'll find that out at Star Trek convention. And Kurtzman's being depowered left and right, but people are all, no, he's still there. Oh, of course he is. But
he's not over 9,000 anymore.
Yeah, he's not over 9,000 anymore. That's it. They're chipping away at his power because he has failed, and they can't stop anything. Everything's in motion, so they're putting other people in charge of it, and that's fine if people want to take And Disney, hey, they gave Kathleen Kennedy a 3-year deal as the overlord of Star Wars, yet they hired somebody to do her job recently. But okay,
it's so hilarious.
We're crazy. We'll just take everybody at face value, and that's it. Everything's fine. Everything's great. Star Wars is awesome. Marvel is awesome.
Never mind the fact that the building's on fire.
Yep.
Never mind the fact that everything's burning down. Everything's great, and if you say otherwise, you're toxic. You're a toxic fan.
Did Kevin Feige not say that MJ in Spider-Man Homecoming? Now I want you to remember back a couple of years. Did he not say she is not Mary Jane? She's not technically.
Yeah, technically, no, she is not. But they found a workaround with the initials.
They certainly did. And doesn't she? Well, yeah, she's Mary Jane. And so he lied. And these people lie all the time. Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams lied to us about Khan and Star Trek in the Darkness. These people lie all the damn time because they don't have to tell us the truth. And honestly, it protects their business practices. And when they have like little YouTubers running around reporting on stuff that could derail their freaking $1 billion plans, it probably gets a little frustrating, you know. But we're here for the fans. We're here for you. We're here for you.
Stinking YouTube trolls, I tell you.
Yes, us troll. So what subject matter for tonight obviously has the Hollywood blockbuster bubble burst? I say yes. I say this has happened, and I think we are going to see a shift into event television. And I think there's a lot of evidence. I also, want to continue the discussion of, I want to hear what you two guys think of J.J. Abrams and his big deal with Warner Brothers. And does that have anything to do with Warner Brothers last minute pulling out of Comic-Con because they had every intention of going and now they're not? And that's right when JJ signs on the dotted line. And is the DCEU going to get a major reboot? And is it going to get JJ Abrams?
Whoa. So they signed JJ Abrams.
Yes. Warner Brothers signed JJ Abrams for $500 million for an exclusive deal to develop film and television shows.
Yay.
And then they backed out of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Maybe they'd have some glass bottles thrown at them. I don't know.
So they delayed Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, according to Patty Jenkins, it could come out this summer. It's done. But they delayed it till next year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 2020.
And bullshit.
They pulled out of Comic-Con, and JJ signs the deal. I mean, I think it's obvious. I think he's taking over. And Grace Randolph even did a video, and I totally agree with it. I think he has taken over the DCEU and is going to get a hard reboot. They're going to continue with the Matt Reeves Batman, but isn't it funny? Robert Pattinson gets work, and then Kristen Stewart. I think Robert Pattinson his thing might work out a little better.
Yeah.
Well, he can actually act. Where Kristen Stewart, she suffers from resting derp face. So derp.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart can't act still. So, but I don't understand the appeal of J.J. Abrams. That's the thing that I don't understand. I don't think that he's really that much of a genius, and I don't really think he's especially a creative genius. I don't see why people continue to think he's just great stuff. I mean, right now he has the name, so that might be part of it. But besides that, I just don't understand why they would put him in charge of the DCEU. That just doesn't make sense to me.
I think he burned through a couple franchises and he needs another one to burn through. Honestly, they rushed to get this deal done before Rise of Skywalker comes out. This deal happens. He moves out of Paramount. 2 franchises are on fire with him running out the door. And he left his people there. I think they offered him.
And nobody's picked up on the fact that he sucks. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
And the rumors are that they wanted to fire Kathleen Kennedy and they couldn't, and they offered it to him and he turned it down because why would he need to? I'm going to go run Warner Brothers and then I'll run, Lucasfilm de facto with my, assistant, his freaking assistant.
Yeah.
And
it's true. Yeah. Yeah. What's her name? Oh man, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's worked on like every single JJ Abrams project ever. And so it's I mean, you can't really hide it. She's clearly has heavy tie-ins with JJ, so it all makes sense when you think about it. All the pieces of the puzzle fit together. So
it really does. And when we're done talking about this, we'll talk about what their real competition is. And we're also, the main title is, and this is something I came up with right at the last minute because I was talking about it briefly with John F. Trent. I just was reviewing Swamp Thing with him on his channel. And it's something I've been asked a lot. And since Josiah, my Lord of the Rings brother, is here, a little later on, we're going to talk about the Game of Thrones prequels in the Lord of the Rings prequels, some language I've heard in some of the articles, because we don't have a lot of info, but this language like sends up a major red flag. And it's the term, it's not the history you thought you know, or it's not what you think it is. In other words,
it's getting woke.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh no, man! You're gonna have to. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to dive into that.
We're gonna unpack that.
Man.
Let's get to a couple super chats, and then I want we got there's another reason I have Josiah on besides the fact that I just we needed some white Christian representation because we have we have two Satan worshipers here. Me and
I have my holy water and everything. So
good. Yeah, don't spray on me.
I'm pretty sure. The last time I walked into a church, I started smoldering. So yeah, holy water might actually be effective.
The church started smoldering when I walked in. So just kidding. I walked into a bunch of churches in Italy. God, Italy's, man, you throw a rock, you hit a church. Frag Minion for $10. Shout out for England teen at I Love Comics. Fight the shadow ban. Yeah, I had a plug. Executive producer Shill. Dude, you could just ask me that in the chat. I love England teen. So shout out to my boy England teen. I Love Comics. Yeah, I saw his live stream. I saw what he's talking about, and I think it's just something we should bring up right now. We had a brief conversation about it. There's certain things I'm just not going to talk about tonight because I talked about them earlier in the week, and my channel got punished. So I talked about a certain thing. And while that live stream was on, I had a video that was, it hit 40,000 views in under 24 hours. The next 24 hours after that live stream I did, it got 3,000 views. So YouTube sent me a message and it looks like, but the other thing we do need to remember, all of us YouTubers, is it's summer. So the ad rates go down during the summer. Kids are out of school. It's just a slow time on YouTube. Even when my channel was smaller, I experienced this 2 summers ago. Last summer, it's kind of normal. Things will pick up. This is the time to, especially if you're like me and you're just working on videos all day, because Comix Division doesn't do that. But I do that. And I can actually do some housework now and work on finishing this office. And we'll, get to see our families, stuff like that. Yeah. So it's kind of like being a teacher, I think. A YouTuber job is not going to last forever, but it might be wise to do a summer CD like teachers do, pack away some money. Or have something alternate, which I am working on. The online comic store is happening. So yes, shout out to England teen, one of the godfathers of Comicsgate, one of the founding fathers. We'll call it founding fathers of Comicsgate. Although he doesn't really talk about that stuff anymore. He's more just because he actually likes comics. Well, he loves comics. It says it in his title.
Absolutely, he does.
Yeah. Daniel, $20. Thank you, Fragment. It's good to see you. I have been dreading the day ever since they announced a new Lord of the Rings. The SJW war against our cherished cultured works of art won't cease. I expect black hobbits, gay elves, and feminism galore. Tolkien needs no improvement. As far as the diversity in it, that's completely expected. And to a certain point, I'm okay with that as long as they keep the spirit of the story intact. In other words, I don't want to hear any sexualizing of anything, to be honest with you, because that's not why I read Tolkien. That's not what Tolkien's about. We figure I want to concentrate on the adventure, camaraderie, and basically just spells and it depends on what they're covering too, by the way.
Who's putting this out? Is this HBO?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon. Okay. As I can say, if it was HBO, man, you're going to be getting a lot.
Oh, it's guaranteed. Amazon Prime. I think it's going to happen. If they're covering the War for the Ring, I don't know, Josiah, what you've heard. I've heard a couple things. I've heard they might be covering the Second Age or the original War for the Ring, and
everything that I've seen about it points to it being part of the Second Age with the forging of the Rings of Power.
Okay,
is what it sounds like it's going to be. So,
which would be great to see. I think that's good. But we will see.
Yeah,
we will see. But that I think they felt like that is one thing they haven't screwed with, and Lord of the Rings has been pure and sacred. The greatest trilogy ever made. And I even like the Hobbit movies. So, you know, I know they're not good. But I watch them all the time and I like them. So there.
There you go.
I watched the first one in the theater and I never looked back.
I dug his God, what were the frames per second on that?
48.
Yeah, I dug that. I thought that was cool. It makes everything look miniaturized, but I thought it was still cool and different. I like
there's parts I like of the Hobbit movies, but yeah. I really like my favorite part of the Hobbit movies actually is the whole like necromancer stuff that they do with like the White Council and all that type of stuff. I love so cool. That stuff. So cool.
And it almost looked like they added it in, like, oh man, we need to do this.
Yeah.
Well, they had to make 3 movies, so they had to draw something out. They had to add something because 2 movies would have been enough to cover The Hobbit.
Easily.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
I just remember when he made that announcement, we're making 3 movies. You could tell that he was like feigning joy and excitement. He's like, oh shit, the fans are going to be pissed because there's no way I can stretch this movie out to 3.
Guillermo screwed him over. I mean, like, I love Guillermo del Toro. I've met Guillermo del Toro, a nice guy, but like uber flake doesn't like, it sucked. He's an artist. He's a great artist. That little book that he walks around with, his idea book, he showed me that. I held it. Oh my God.
That's cool. Wow.
Frack. The dude could draw comics. He could do whatever he wants. He's so talented.
That's awesome.
But he doesn't have a follow through
for a while.
Yeah. Well, but he doesn't follow through with anything. He doesn't finish anything because he's, super ADHD or whatever.
Did he actually finish it? Fuck, I don't remember what it's called now.
Chris G for $2. Fan meetup at Comic-Con. Yes. I can tell you right now, the initial plans are for Wednesday night because I'm not going to preview night. There's a coffee shop called Lestat's Coffee House in Normal Heights.
Nice.
And it's 24-hour coffee shop. We can all meet there. I suspect it'll be just like a few of us, and we can just hang there. We can live stream from there. I did that last year, so let's do it again.
Nice.
That'd be fun. And we'll do one more, and then we'll get to the chat here. Hollywood is dead to me. Why they did what they did to Predator was unforgivable. Batwoman, Captain Marvel, what is happening? This is my friend Matt McCoy for $20. What's up, Matt? Punk rock singer from the North Bay, getting married. Congratulations. Predator. Yeah, Matt, if you haven't seen Mahler's videos on the Predator, oh God, is it good? It is good. But yeah, guys. So I guess I'm going to dig up this article, but Josiah, why don't you tell us real quick what happened to your channel? Because something shitty happened.
Yeah, so it's actually nice being able to live stream through other people a little bit because I can't live stream on my own channel anymore. So basically what happened was I was live streaming for E3 the Ubisoft panel. And we were just having a good. I live streamed every other panel before that as well, so I don't know what was so special about the Ubisoft panel, but after the Ubisoft panel, I lost my ability to live stream. I was going to live stream the Square Enix panel later on, and I went to live stream the Square Enix panel, and suddenly YouTube telling me, hey, you can't live stream. So it's like, okay. So I went to my email and I saw that I got a copyright claim from Ubisoft for streaming their panel because it had some songs in it that apparently they didn't want to be live streamed or something. And copyright claims aren't something abnormal. YouTubers get them all the time for videos. And so there wasn't anything weird as far as that goes. And I was just like, okay. So I went to my channel, and my channel is still completely clean. I don't have a channel strike. I don't have a community guideline strike. I don't have anything like that. My channel is like completely clean. And so I contacted YouTube and I was like, okay, what's going on with this? I have a copyright claim, and it's nothing that should be affecting my channel. It says here right in the email, this will not affect your channel. And then I showed them my channel as well with like no strikes or anything. And they're like, well, basically Ubisoft copyright claimed some of the content in your live stream, and because of that, you can't live stream now for 90 days. And I was like, are you serious? So, while all this was going down, I did the stupid thing of deleting the video because I'm an idiot. And so that happened, and that obviously didn't help my case at all. And so now I'm basically stuck with not being able to live stream on my channel for 90 days. So basically, I've been live streaming on Twitch, which has been going pretty good. I'm already a Twitch affiliate and stuff, so that's been nice. But I am looking forward to getting back to live streaming on YouTube. I think I have like 78 or 77 days left or something, and then I can live stream on YouTube again. So it sucks. It really does suck. I mean, it's hit me pretty hard in some ways, like financially and stuff. So, but besides all of that, and not being able to talk with a lot of the people that I'm used to talking to, because a lot of the people that I talk to on YouTube don't do anything on Twitch. There's been some that have migrated over to following me on Twitch and stuff as well, but that's just an entirely different realm for people. So yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks, but we're getting through it somehow. So
yeah, it's really tough to get people. I mean, everybody says, "Hey, try this, try that." It is impossible to get people to migrate over. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of actually. Probably half the people watching right now, and thank you for watching, by the way. Thank you for tuning in. Probably aren't subscribed to me. And by the way, if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Just click the subscribe button, hit that little bell. I promise I don't bite hard. Yeah, I won't bug you too much. I'll try to keep the quality of the content good. I do live stream a lot. I live stream 3 to 4 times a week on this channel, and then I've got another channel which I exclusively live stream on, but it's usually UFO stuff. But that's Nerdrotic Live. But if you would like to subscribe here, and these fine gentlemen here, Comix Division and JosiahRises, in the description, their channels are linked, as well as Geeks and Gamers, who JosiahRises works for as well. They are linked in the description. They are friends. And yeah, Jeremy, it looks like Jeremy's going to Comic-Con with me. We'll both be down there. Causing trouble. Yes.
Nice.
So it's going to be fun. So that sucks. I went through a very similar thing 2 summers ago when I had 300 subscribers. I was reviewing Preacher, and I put on, there was a little lower third banner. A lower third is a little graphic that you put on the bottom of your screen that has your name on it, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I put my full website, I put the www.nerdrotic.com, which I have been doing forever. And somebody saw that, and my live stream was on for like a nanosecond. And I got this, all of a sudden there's this red screen, and it says, you've been flagged. And I went, okay, acknowledge. And I went, okay. And then I went, oh crap, I better delete that. And then I deleted it immediately and then I later found out I could have fought it. I could have won. And could have got and you can't fight anything that's not there. So never delete your video.
Yeah. I learned that one from Diversity in Comics when he got his first strike.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah,
it was about a year and a half ago.
We've all gotten them, and it's kind of funny. The timing of these strikes usually happens when the channel's like hot and there's a hot subject, and there's always people trying to knock you down. So you'll get through it. And honestly, you're going to be like I said, this is the slow time. So if there was any good time to not be live, I mean, it still sucks. You also have do you have a Streamlabs? Are you like the PayPal through Streamlabs or Subscribestar?
Yep. I have a Subscribestar and some things like that. So and I have a bunch of different rewards for tiers set up on Subscribestar, like people do on Patreon and all that stuff as well. So yeah. The nice thing about, looking at the positive side of it, is my channel has been growing really fast because I've been doing nothing but just uploading videos recently. So as far as the channel growth, it's been going really well for the past couple weeks. So that's been the bright side of it. So yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're putting up videos, it's weird because I don't know. But live streaming is my favorite thing to do, and honestly, if I could get away with just live streaming every day, I would. Like because I could just cut up my live streams and turn them into videos. But you got to make that content. You make that content, and it'll automatically, you'll get 20 subs here, 30. Sometimes you get 100. Sometimes you get hot. You get a couple hundred, 1,000, a day, and it comes and goes. But as long as you're got that steady growth, it's good. So yeah, stay on it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yep, definitely. And I just want to say I do appreciate the support of everyone during all this time as well and stuff. Like the Twitter post that I put out there to try to get YouTube's attention, it never did get YouTube's attention or anything. But
it typically won't.
Yeah, but it got over it got almost 250 retweets and stuff and all of that, and it that's only because of just how amazing of a community we have, and I do appreciate everyone's support and all of that. So thank you to everyone. I do appreciate your support a lot. So thank you.
You're welcome, dude. We love you, man. And if one of my fine mods could find Josiah's link to his subscribe star, that would be great, and link it in there.
I want to say I saw it get dropped earlier. It's a possibility. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's just subscribestar.com/JosiahRises. So
yeah. Oh, and I've got one of my mods asking, my face is on my Captain Marvel. I did not make that image. But yeah, the Captain Marvel face.
Subscribed.
That doesn't count because that was made for me by somebody, and it's hideous. It's hideous.
Oh,
so yeah, it's absolutely hideous.
And I laughed my ass off. It was brilliant. Whoever made that, it was totally awesome. You need to make more.
Oh God, yeah, that one's bad. I look so sexy.
Dude, it's
probably
great,
sexier
man.
than she does. At least I'm smiling. You're never fully dressed without a smile. Remember that.
Did you see the one that somebody did of you and Jeremy with I don't know, the really, really effeminate looking outfits for men now or something that somebody over in the UK is doing? And oh my gosh, they were romper looking things, but not, they were laced rompers almost. And holy crap, I died at that picture. That was so funny. That was so funny.
I know. I can't. I wish I could pull it up quick, but I can't. Well, that sounded bad. But we'll save it for Comic-Con. I was almost going to make Jeremy would have killed me, but if we ever did another charity thing, it's if we hit a certain amount, Jeremy and I would have to buy one of those and wear it. But Jeremy,
I remember last year, man. You're talking about going to Comic-Con dressed as Princess Leia.
I still will. Not slave girl Leia, but
Leia in white.
Leia in white, certainly. I for a certain amount of money, I'll freaking do.
I don't think anybody would want to see you as slave girl Leia, Gary. I'm sorry.
I don't want to see me as slave girl Leia. That would be disgusting. And I have kids, and I don't ever want them to see that, and see their dad like that, because that'll be the picture. Because my wife has a very good sense of humor. At my funeral, that would be the picture she would show.
But you know what? The great thing is, it won't matter because you're dead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do see the snowman for $4.99. Shouldn't at least one of the angels be trans for diversity and be stunning and brave? Yes. I'm pretty sure that Kristen Stewart's angel is actually probably gay, because Kristen Stewart's gay, right? So
yes, she is.
Yeah. Oh, she is?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, when did this happen?
A long time ago.
I think she's always been. That's why there was absolutely zero chemistry between her and Robert Pattinson. You can sense that stuff. Okay, I mean, what made Walk the Line good is Joaquin Phoenix and I'm blanking on her name now, had great chemistry, freaking brilliant chemistry. So
I thought Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart were married at one point.
No.
Maybe did they date at one point?
I think they did, but
she's bi.
Yeah, she I think came out as bi, and I think she's exclusive with women these days.
Pretty much everybody in Hollywood is bi. Pretty much, I'd say the percentage would shock you. or not shock you. I don't know. It's so not surprising there. But she seems to lean more towards the ladies. And honestly, the way guys had treated women in Hollywood for the last few decades, I mean, honestly, I can't argue with them. I mean, like the overcorrection that's happening within our narrative sucks, and it's ruining all our fucking movies. But it did start
ruining
on
everything, man.
something that actually happened.
Right.
Thanks, Harvey Weinstein, you piece of crap. Doesn't he? I mean, I say this a lot, but doesn't he look like somebody who's had people whacked? I mean, like, yeah, there's body. I'm just like, this is my opinion, done for comedic purposes, but not really. I think he's got bodies buried in the desert or something. Like, he just looks like that kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks like a creep.
Yeah.
You never know with those people that high of power, who knows? Who knows what's I
think it's the reason why J.J. Abrams is taking over Hollywood. I think you're right, man. I think he knows where the bodies are buried. He's got dirt.
I'm telling you, they went to Bohemian Grove. They did a ritual to Moloch and anointed J.J. Abrams the king of Hollywood. That's the only explanation, because his movies aren't that good.
No, they aren't. He is so overhyped. It's ridiculous.
Christopher Nolan should be getting the money he's getting.
I've seen people compare him to like some of the greatest filmmakers of all time, like Steven Spielberg, and somebody actually told me that somebody on your stream or something, Gary, compared him to like Alfred Hitchcock or something, and I was just like, "Are you serious? He doesn't even come close to their level."
Compared J.J. Abrams to Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah. So little Jimmy, who got coffee for Alfred Hitchcock, that's who J.J. Abrams is.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I wouldn't even say that like J.J. he isn't like even, I'd say he's maybe like lower mid-tier level filmmaker. I wouldn't even say he's like upper mid-tier.
He's Michael Bay. And honestly, Michael Bay's made more enjoyable movies. I would rather watch. I would rather watch a Michael Bay film than I would watch a J.J. Abrams film. Pretty much 9 times out of 10.
Where Bay has explosions, J.J. has lens flares.
Yeah. And
explosions are more fun.
But Michael Bay like ends his movies. He doesn't have some stupid MacGuffin mystery box like he's got a beginning, middle, and a meteor coming to destroy Earth. We do something ridiculous, and then we end movie with lots of sweeping shots, and everybody has a perfect tan, and it's always like at sunset or at dawn. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. It basically is a car commercial for 2 hours.
I have to say I do like The Island though. I enjoyed that film.
I liked God, you know who wrote The Island? I hate to admit this. Alex Kurtzman.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He's on the IMDb. I think he might be a co-writer.
I take it back.
Dude, it's a rip-off of Logan's Run. Okay. It's a guy. It's total. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Captain Spire, $10. Met Peter Macon. Oh, from the Orville. That's cool. I told him about your idea for Bortus action figure with removable mustache, Marlboro prop, and Geloja action, and he loved it. Oh, that's brilliant. He defended Clyden's character and a good Q&A panel. That's good that he defended his mate, but Clyden is a jackass. But he's played very well. And I want a Bortus action figure with Geloja action, which means you have to like hook it up to a tank because he has to pee for like an hour, and the mustache and the cigarettes, and the cigarettes have to light. Okay. He has to be, I want cigarette smoking action. One actual, you could do a vape if you want, but hell yeah. Taylor Ramirez for $5. Just watched Charlie's Angels trailer, and I like in this super woke movie, there's a fashion montage. I know. And it's not a good fashion montage either. And they have multiple closets, so it's conflicted. I'm not saying it's not conflicted, but I'm going off of articles I read, which, it's the Access Media. And dude, that's another entire podcast that I was mulling around talking about. Maybe we can do it in the future. I mean, because it's kind of obvious, but it's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Is the Access Media is totally just useless now. They've lost any. They used to serve a purpose, but the problem is when movies started in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they needed the media for the exposure. The media was the power, so they had to they had to kiss ass, and the media would set down ground rules. Now it's like, I won't expose the fact that there's bodies in the desert, but we do need to talk about the divorce or something like that.
Yeah.
So they would still like ask real questions. Now it's totally reversed in the media. There's so much of them now are just, what can we do for you, studios, so we can get our free stuff and get our exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how many of these sites are just copy and pasting basically Deadline's article, or there's only like 3 or 4 major sources for news, and then everybody else copies and pastes from that, rewords it a little bit. That's, you know, the exceptions to that, of course, are bounding into comics because they go against the narrative. So they actually write their own articles. Same with Bleeding Fools, same with Cosmic Book News and Disney Star Wars is Dumb. Those are good sites. And there's a couple other sites that are okay, but most of them are just, they repeat everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, the narrative and just even the way that the articles are structured from every single one of these mainstream media sites are just the same. They all sound exactly the same. And, yeah.
I really noticed that when the Kurtzman 5-year plan came off and everybody ran like he said 5-year plan. And if you listen to the interview, it's only talked about at the end, and it's called a 5 or 10-year plan. And he's referring to a conversation he had like a year and a half, 2 years, maybe more, maybe 3 years ago, when they initially started talking about the Star Trek stuff. So I'm like, he didn't really talk. He talked about stuff that's already come out, but I've already done a video on that. I said my piece. TK 999 from a guy who loved the 70s version, owned the Farrah Fawcett poster, and even bought the 2000s Charlie's Angels on Blu-ray. I have zero inclination to watch the new version. TK, I will freely admit I like the first Charlie's Angels movie. I do. I think it's funny. I'm fine with it. It didn't change my life, but it was funny and it had its moments.
Dude, I don't know. It's like, I know that it's been a long time since I watched Charlie's Angels, but I remember there being a certain level of camp, but I don't necessarily remember it being a comedy though. And that's like one of the things that Hollywood tries to do is they will adapt a property from like the 70s and 80s, and they'll turn it into a freaking comedy.
The Charlie's Angels movie was, I mean, it was campy as hell. It was all camp, 100% camp. I wouldn't go so far as call it comedy, but it was still pretty damn funny. And I enjoyed it. It had decent music. It was very much of its time. And, you know, quite frankly, the late 90s, early 2000s were a good time. They were a good time. The things were good, you know, right before 9/11.
That's what really ruined everything.
It really did.
Yeah, this Charlie's Angels movie kind of just feels like almost like an exact repeat of what happened with Ghostbusters, pretty much. So
yeah. Well, God, I was watching Robert Meyer Burnett. If you're listening, Rob Meyer Burnett, I'm going to contact you soon, and we're going to talk Star Trek. You, me, and Doomcock. We'll get that going. But he made a good point. He was talking about all these movies that failed recently, and they were a bunch of female-led. They were inversion movies where it's a male character. I was talking about this last live stream. So what's going on right now? Some of you probably noticed it, and they're not hiding it. They came out and said it. Is they're taking parts that were written for men and they're casting women, and they're not having the women act any different. So
Bosley.
Yeah, there's multiple Bosleys too in this new one, right? The Patrick Stewart is a Bosley, and so actually Jodie Whittaker did a big old article talking about this and how they're trying to blur the genders and stuff, and it just isn't working. Again, you know how you can sniff out when people don't have chemistry. You can also sniff out when unless it's an extraordinary actress or actor, you can sniff it out. And I'm starting to sense this in Swamp Thing a little bit. There's a couple characters that clearly look like they're written for men. They're casted women, and one of the women's not doing a very good job. A case where it did work was Legion with, but that's with Aubrey Plaza, who's like a national treasure. So we love Aubrey Plaza, or at least I do. And she'd be a great Catwoman, by the way. And I would watch Batman just for that. Okay, so Chris Persia, Canadian $5. Here's a theory. As they used John Forsythe's voice, perhaps they'll reveal Charlie is actually a former angel using a voice modulator. maybe they'll finally reveal that, because they've always alluded that Charlie was a little heaven sent. So, and I doesn't, yeah, Melissa, my wife has a Charlie's Angels Mego or doll from, she has some vintage stuff from Charlie's Angels from the 70s. Blue-eyed Scorpio 4.99. The fact that there are so many bombs says everything, because people aren't even craving going to the movies just to go, even after passing on everything. That is a great point, guys. Josiah, do you still enjoy just going to the theater, having some popcorn, kicking back? I mean, is it, you know?
I do. I mean, going to the theaters is probably one of my favorite things to do ever. Like, I love it. I love the environment of a theater. I love being able to just grab your food and go into a dark theater and sit down in the big recliner chairs and have the huge screen in front of you. I love it. I really do. But there really hasn't been that many great movies especially this year. Like, this year has been pretty awful, to be honest, with movies. Usually every year there's at least like a handful of films that I consider are like really good movies. And so far, I don't think the only movie that I would say really I would consider is like a really good movie that came out this year so far is probably John Wick 3. To be honest. And every once in a while you see one of those kinds of movies where you're like, that is why I love movies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the rest of the time it's like, oh man, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep inflicting this pain upon myself?
That's kind of why I stopped going to movies. It's the only movies I've really been seeing have been superhero movies. Occasionally there's something that'll come out that really kind of catches my interest, but yeah, man, it's like Hollywood has been in a decline for a very long time, and honestly, like, one of the best movies I've seen recently is on the back of your wall with Planet of the Apes. I thought that series of movies was just amazing, and the fact that you can get such emotional value out of a CGI ape is just fantastic. But those movies are few and far between. I remember when you would used to show up and it would be fun and great, and now it's just meh.
Movies just don't really have that same level of charm or magic or enjoyability anymore. Like, I don't know. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, part of me wonders if maybe it's because of the move away from practical effects to CG. That plays a lot into it, and because so many movies do it wrong. Where Planet of the Apes is a great example of actually getting CG right and having it really blend well with the live action.
Exactly.
But it seems like ever since they made that big push away from practical is where you started to see these movies really kind of decline. And I also think that the ballooning budgets have played into that as well.
I think there's a lot of problems going on with movies. I don't think that movies take any sort of risks anymore at all.
No, they don't.
And that is a huge problem. The whole point of telling good stories is you have to take some sort of risk in your story if you want to get any sort of genuinely enjoyable reaction from your audience, and movies just don't do that anymore. And that's a huge problem with movies nowadays. And no movies want. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I heard that Shaft was actually a pretty good movie, and it actually it took a lot of risks, and it was pretty ballsy and stuff. And we just don't get movies like that anymore. We don't get any sort of filmmakers and the studios are just too afraid to do anything in their movies that might offend somebody or push that politically correct line. And I think that is a huge problem as well. They just play it too safe. They just play it too safe from all sorts of different levels, from the narrative level, from the creative level, to all the way to the level of the political level, I guess you could say, too. So,
well, the thing I find so funny about it is that they're perfectly fine with going the woke route because they think that's
Yeah.
what people want, even though it's only like 9% of the population, where
Mhm.
everybody else just wants a good freaking story and
Exactly.
to have fun. I mean, that's the thing that drives me crazy about what is going on. It's like jokes aren't funny, man. It's like, what
Mhm.
the hell, dude? I mean, you're
Yeah,
sucking the life out of everything. You're sucking the enjoyment out. That's like the whole thing now. It's
Yeah.
like nothing can be enjoyable or fun anymore. It has to be preachy and tell you what to think and all this other, garbage.
Yeah. That's why, like, whenever I kind of get caught up in the movies that are coming out nowadays, and I'm just like, like everything's just trash nowadays. When I go back, to the movies that came out like 15, 20 years ago and lower, and then I'm like, these are movies that I enjoy and miss so much that we just don't get made anymore. So
and they're not getting made because of politics. That's something I wanted to hit on. Is
Mhm.
it's ruining absolutely everything, and we're actually in a time right now. Hollywood's going against the grain, and I will say it again: Hollywood is where trends go to die. They do not create them; they are the end user. Trends start on for lack of a better term, the streets, the ground level. But we're not going to see a film like Fight Club or The Fisher King, and the last one I can remember is Zero Theorem, which nobody watched, which was great. And I love Terry Gilliam, but we're not going to see any surrealism or any biting commentary unless it's from one side of the political aisle. And I think this has everything to do. Of course, there's lots of reasons. Hollywood's out of ideas, but I do think there's a ton of clapback with their act at the Oscars the last few years, their act recently at the MTV Movie Awards, which surprisingly or unsurprisingly, their ratings went down 43%. And
oh no.
well, Hollywood's in a straight, maybe they don't know it yet. Maybe they're not in a panic, but they should be, because there's going to be a lot of people out of work, because a lot of this is a lot of Hollywood's moving to metadata. You can outsource the crap out of metadata and code basically. And a lot of, a lot of stuff is easier to make. We can green screen now in our rooms. And honestly, I think some of the most experimental stuff is happening right here on YouTube, is happening with kids doing their own stuff. And that's the one thing that doesn't get brought up in the streaming wars. I bring it up time and time again. It's just because, I notice it through my kids and my kids' friends, what they've got their heads in all the time. And it's not streaming service. They don't give a crap about going to a movie. As a matter of fact, it's getting to the point where my kid goes to a movie with me just because he's like, oh, it's because dad wants me to. It's not like he really wants to. He likes the Marvel movies. I think he's looking forward to Spider-Man, but my kid's dialed in. My kid, Logan hates freaking Iron Man, Iron Spider-Man. He hates that Tony is his overlord, because he knows Spider-Man, and it's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't get help from people. That's part of his character. So I digress. The politics, they are feeling the backlash from that. They will never ever admit to it. They are doubling down. Oh my God. What I heard about Star Trek Discovery season 3, if that happens, what they're going to do with that, what they're doing with Doctor Who, one of the episodes, I'm doing a video on this. They are, the Doctor is fighting climate change. So so they're going to bring down the Autons, which are plastic people, and they're going to do a whole episode on how plastic is bad. But they want you to buy their plastic action figures.
That's so ironic.
Definitely want you to buy their plastic.
Is bad.
Yes,
buy our plastic crap.
But please buy my plastic Dalek right here. Yes. So this isn't bad for the environment because it will exterminate. By the way, one of you out there wanted this one, and you contacted Melissa, and then I didn't hear from. Maybe you did contact me. Contact me again. I will. We can work a deal. Apparently, this is like the last one you need to fill your collection. I've got like 3 of them. So yeah, let me know. Okay, so yeah, it's so, and the Oscars, the ratings, oh my God, they leveled out, and that was a big victory for them. And they've alienated half the country. They've called half the country Nazis, racists. There's an article it was old, and I kind of sent it to you, Comix Division, then I pulled it back, but it was a big article about toxic fandom, and it was basically the article was saying, we can't even call these people fans. We don't even.
I read the article.
Yeah. So we can't even call these racists fans. They're not really fans, and it's like, what? Yeah, and that's where and it's uber divided. They won't stop, even though we're like over and over again, video after video. We're like, stop, just stop. Just be neutral.
One thing I think is funny about it is that there's one thing that they didn't bring up. They kind of did, and it's the idea of toxic creators. And they're going after the fans hard, but what they're not going after is people like Ryan Johnson who don't go and respect the source material. He wanted a divisive movie. He wanted to split the fan base because that's his thing, I guess. I don't know. But that's the thing that they need to go after is they're going after the fans, but they're not going after the content creators that's putting out this garbage that is really what is ruining fandom. And they do kind of touch on the split, and there were some points that were made that I can agree with, but overall the majority of the article was garbage. It's fans are bad. Fans are bad. Because they're too into it. They're toxic. They're constantly fighting with each other. What's wrong with having an opinion? There's nothing wrong, and we're not always going to disagree. Excuse me. We're not always going to agree on things, and that's life. But the fact that you can't have an opinion these days, because if you have an opinion that makes you toxic, it's like, get fucked, man. Get fucked.
It's daycare generation, man. Like our arguments, they make me uncomfortable. It's like, and I've said it a million times, this is fandom, kiddo. I mean, this is it. And thankfully it will be niche again very soon, because this,
it's gonna burn out.
Yeah, they can't afford blockbusters anymore. So they're going to take that money and they're going to spend it on event television. And again, they're going to burn through that too with that binge model that's unsustainable. It's great. I'm sure it's convenient for a lot of people, and it's unsustainable. You can't drop $150 million on something that's forgotten in 48 hours. Like Jessica Jones, does anybody know that came out?
I saw like the first episode, and I
didn't even have a single urge to watch it. So
the only reason why I'm watching is because my wife wants to watch it, and it's something we've watched all the Marvel streaming stuff together, and I really have absolutely no interest in this season whatsoever, and it's just, it's fucking trash.
I probably would watch it, but since they canceled all of those shows anyway, they don't really mean anything to me anymore. So
dude, it's beautiful, because basically the villain of the season is white privilege.
Oh boy.
There's an entire Mary Sue article about it, or white entitlement, I think is what it is. White entitlement. It's priceless, man. It really is.
Oh my
God, if it was a movie, I'd watch it, but I sat through Iron Fist season 2, and then Luke Cage, one of the villains was gentrification.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I saw a big write-up of it. There's going to be a comic that's probably going to win all the Eisners, which is about gentrification in Chicago, because that's what I want to read in my comic books. God. And they wonder why they're just going down.
It's because you're not woke enough, Gary, to appreciate the nuance of these comic books when it comes to gentrification.
Well, the mission got gentrified, and now I can walk at night with my kid and not get stabbed and mugged. So there you go. Not so bad. Not so bad. Hollywood got gentrified too. Hollywood used to be nasty in the 80s. When I used to go there, you used to be able to like buy meth and crack on the streets. Just walk down the street, gotta be all weed, acid, crack, heroin, just out like he's selling peanuts at the ball game. He's all, hey,
peanuts, popcorn, crack.
Yeah, crack, meth, heroin.
We got the heroin right here.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Black Tar or regular?
I'm enjoying Good Omens. Good Omens was good.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was enjoyable because David Tennant is probably one of the most charming human beings alive, and Michael Sheen was great. Anybody see Beach Bum? I haven't seen Beach Bum. No, I haven't seen Beach Bum. I've seen a lot of them. I grew up in Encinitas, California. It's like the home of the Beach Bum.
Something just occurred to me. I want to say it was probably like maybe a decade to 15 years ago. I used to religiously watch trailers on, Apple's website. Now I don't even do that. I don't care what's coming out.
Dr. Venkman, is that true? 2018 Tomb Raider is getting a sequel. How?
Yeah, I think I heard
Why?
something.
Did it make money? I mean, well, maybe it costs like $5 to make.
I don't know.
I didn't think it did that well, but I'm gonna look it up real quick.
You haven't seen Stevenson Alley behind Valencia, then, dude. You're missing some primo steamers. Monster 01. Well, it's not totally great. Yeah, listen. I honestly no. I would not take my kid for a walk in the Mission at like 1 o'clock in the morning. That would not be responsible parenting. But you could certainly go down like during the day. My oldest kid, they used to try to mug him all the time. Luckily, he was big. He's like 6'6", 6'5", 6'6".
Wow. Yeah.
So domestically,
don't mess with the big boy.
58 million and worldwide 274 million.
Heroic Avenger 96. We don't judge anybody for liking anything. If you enjoyed the movie, I didn't even see it, so I can't really speak on it. I'm just surprised it made money. But if it made money, 820 million worldwide. Yeah, Aladdin is a major hit. Like it's almost at $1 billion. So.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Huh.
And I have no desire to see it whatsoever.
Yeah, same here.
That's funny.
Hey, you know what? It's easy to please some people, but that's not sustainable. See, the movies still need to do well here. I mean, the foreign market has been helping a lot of movies, but if they're just starting to straight up tank here, that's again not sustainable. If they want to start making,
it's the reason why they started making them for overseas and not for here.
But they can't continue to make exclusively overseas movies because they have to succeed here too. They don't, because you're losing a revenue stream, and they got to find that balancing act. But it's going to have to be specialized. You're preaching to the choir,
man. You're preaching to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I'm also talking to the chat. That's how live streams go. Comix Division.
I know.
God,
dick. Comix Division guys a dick. I don't know why I have them on the stream.
Yeah, it's kind of how you live stream. You're talking to an audience.
I know, dude.
So you might be repeating things that people know already. Doctor Who, but thanks for playing. Doctor Who BBC no longer is making the show as viewing figures are too low. Don't believe that. Okay, so there was a clickbait article, Vish, that certainly looked like they were canceling Doctor Who, but it was just like that Robert Pattinson one that Jeremy shared. So Jodie Whittaker was on a TV show, another TV show besides Doctor Who. She left that TV show to do Doctor Who, and that Doctor Who or that show got canceled. So the way that the Star worded the article, I'm trying to remember how they worded it is TV show canceled. I got to see how they worded it. It was beautiful. It was like the most beautiful clickbait ever, but it made it look like Doctor Who was getting canceled, but it's not. It's not. So let me try to let's see if I can.
That's too bad.
It is. Well, I mean, it's going to get canceled eventually.
No,
you want to talk about unsustainable. Cancel Doctor Who. Let's see if I could, because it was like, this is a lesson in clickbait. The BBC confirms. Okay, so Trust Me got axed after Jodie Whittaker's exit. God, somebody sent it to me, and it was the Star. It was the Star. Okay, hang on just a second, folks. It was like the best clickbait headline I've seen since Jeremy. Now I can't find it. That sucks. Oh, well, I'll look for it later. I could probably find it in my Facebook. But in the meantime, we'll read Super Chat. Bruce Lombardo, we will never have a wonderful span of imagination like the 80s. The era of giants like Glenn Larson has been gone for a while. And it is sad to say, try to watch anything today. Hashtag unsustainable. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. The thing is, we're anything good is starting to get ruined with wokeness. I mean,
absolutely.
like stuff I liked a year ago. Like, here's a great example. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Maybe it's just me being too sensitive to wokeness. But I was watching Legion. I was gonna review Legion, and right in the first in the narrative, they have to look for the pregnant virgin, right? So there's this new character. She's a girl, and in the first 5 minutes, you find it's basically Blink, but they can't use Blink, so they call her Switch. She's a time traveler. She like opens doors with her finger. She like goes, opens the door, and then she's walking through a hallway, and it says 1 hour ago, and it's actually kind of cool. But you find out that this girl is amazing at science. She's an amazing artist. The only flaw she has is a bad father. And then she finds the pregnant virgin. The first thing the pregnant virgin says is, yes, I'm a pregnant virgin, penis free for 25 years, and I was out. Boom.
Oh, holy fucking shit.
Just out. And I'm like, and it probably was harmless, and by itself it was fine, but I'm so effing fed up with the shite. I was like, I'm done.
Dude, it's current year, man. It's
oh my
God. Like I said, if that came out like a decade or 2 decades ago, no big deal. But you're seeing it everywhere, and that's kind of the thing, man. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts at this point with this nonsense, and that's the reason why we're speaking out, is because we see this shit everywhere. And it'd be one thing if it was like one show on occasion, but it's every single fucking week.
Exactly. And I think
when manspreading and mansplaining make it into a show.
Yeah. And I think more and more people are just getting to that level of just being sick and tired of it all. Like, I think the way that the Batwoman trailer got just absolutely destroyed on YouTube was a telltale sign of that. Like, people are just tired of the nonsense.
Yeah,
like normal people, which makes up the majority of the people out there. I know Hollywood, that doesn't fit with your narrative at all. But the majority of normal thinking human beings are tired of the nonsense that you're continuing to try to cram down our throats. And it's just people are just starting to actually react to that more and more. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what you described, Gary, I swear to God, it sounded like it came out of a Marvel comic book from a year and a half ago.
It did, right? I mean, it's amazing
right
woman
down
of
to
science.
the whole science thing.
Yeah, who is completely flawless and no personality, probably, and Noah Hawley, the writer, is a gifted writer, like a true talented, like did Fargo. He's apparently his Dr. Doom script isn't dead, but you know what's going to happen with his Dr. Doom script? It will be it will be called Dr. Doom, but we'll focus on a young woman who lives in Latveria, who is a scientist, who feeds children, and
is amazing at everything.
Is amazing at everything, and we follow her journey with the toxic male patriarchal Dr. Doom. That's what it'll probably be. Swamp Thing. And this is even written into the DNA of the comic book. I mean, Abby Arcane is kind of the main character for a while, but you still see Swamp Thing a lot. Well, it's the Abby Arcane show. It's starting to turn into it. I like it. It's good, but it's starting to wear on me. And what was Iron Fist season 2? It wasn't about Iron Fist.
No, it wasn't.
It was Colleen Wing show. Yeah. So here we go. Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker's BBC show axed after ratings nosedive. That is the best clickbait article headline I've ever seen, because it certainly looks like Doctor Who is axed, but it's the show she was on prior had a ratings nosedive because she left. So Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker's BBC show axed after ratings nosedive. It's actually her former show. They actually are not.
Gotcha.
So somebody said that to me.
Clickbait.
Wow. Yeah.
Is this the same person that did the Batman one as well?
No, but they went to the same school of genius clickbait headlines.
Apparently. Wow.
That was I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. There's no way in
video titles like that, but
here's something that's not going to happen. and Alex Kurtzman will not get out and out fired from. He won't get publicly fired by CBS. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who will not get canceled while she is Doctor Who. Never in a million years. She will leave at some point, but they will not cancel it. They will burn all the money in the world and eat all the money in the world rather than look like they're canceling a female-led series. Look at what Sci-Fi did. Sci-Fi renewed a show that was getting 0 ratings to not look bad. Wynonna Earp. And that's my opinion, but it certainly looks, I don't know why it got renewed. I mean, they canceled The Expanse with less, it had lower ratings or had better ratings than Wynonna Earp. And yeah, and listen, they'll, and even with Star Trek Discovery, it was guaranteed to get a season 2, and we'll see what happens. But one of the major factors that's playing into them not canceling these shows that are costing them tons of money is saving face. Saving face is everything right now because it's the war of information. It's a war of perception right now with the streaming wars in Hollywood, because things are so hyper political that if they actually do something they need to do, like get rid of an employee that's not very good, they're going to look bad, and it's going to look like a victory for their perceived wrong side. You see how insane everything's getting now.
Mhm.
So they're going to burn down from this. I mean, you can't succeed this way.
Well, that's the funny thing. That was like also mentioned in that toxic fan article. It's like, some people will take this as a win because, if certain things happen, and it's just like, fuck me running. I mean, this shit is just ridiculous. One of the things that I remember when Mass Effect 3 came out and you had the color-coded endings and you had fans that were pissed off. And that was like one thing that the shill media was saying at the time. I was like, this sets a dangerous precedent. And it's like, dude, you promised us that our in-game actions would affect the outcome. What we got was 3 different colored endings.
Mhm.
That's not what you said you were going to deliver. And that's why people are pissed. And it's the exact same thing that's going on in fandoms, from Tolkien to Game of Thrones to Marvel to Star Wars, is that you promised us something and you gave us complete garbage. And it's actually even worse in the gaming industry right now. I mean, if you know anything about the game Anthem, that game is a total mess. I've never played it, but I follow a lot of the coverage of it, and it's just like, man, talk about promising something and not delivering it at all.
Yeah.
The gaming industry is just a dumpster fire right now. It's so bad. It's really bad.
That's why the quartering is going to hit 1 million subscribers in the next 5 minutes. Like,
for real.
He's got, I mean, just like, he's never going to run out of content. At least, like, we have a week like this week where it's a Charlie's Angels trailer. It's like, again, it's like I can catch up on my chores, but there's nothing going on. But man, he is never going to run out of material. Okay, let's get to some super chats here. Okay. Modius, thank you for the $1 donation. I greatly appreciate it. When you give $1, I guess they don't let you put in a comment. I hate that, by the way. So Modius, please put something in the say what's up or something in the chat. Or a question. David Street, $5. Do you ever watch fan fiction Star Trek on YouTube? If so, what is your favorite production? My favorite production by far is Star Trek Continues. Excuse me. Vic Mignogna's Star Trek Continues. Axanar is good, but it's just basically a trailer. It's a fantastic trailer. It really is
really good.
But the thing is, you're never going to get what you were promised now, because Richard Hatch has left us, which is just sad as hell. His Klingon was freaking brilliant. And Axanar was really, really good. I think they're asking for more money. I'm not sure what the situation is. I always, of course, check out Do What You Like. But I like Star Trek Continues because just because of the sets and the lighting, and it looks like a freaking Star Trek episode. Some of the acting is, is Star Trek fan film stuff. I love watching the fan stuff. But my suggestion would be George R.R. Martin's is like, use that for your own stuff. Like use all that creativity that's that's obviously boiling out of you, that and you love something so much that you want to make, and that's brilliant. It truly is the sign of a healthy franchise, and it's great. And if you want to do it, but I would write your own stuff, and you know, it'd be yours, and
Thank
you
you,
can make
Philip.
a lot of money off it.
I completely. I was trying to remember the name. Star Trek Phase 2 was also really good. Also, the older Tim Russ stuff was good, and I was really looking forward to Renegades before he got fucked, because that was supposed to be a, you know, his own Star Trek fan stuff, and then I don't know, because of the trickery with the license, he completely had to rebrand it as something else.
Yeah, and that whole fan rules thing, I mean, the reason it happened is because people started making too much money on these productions. And according to Alec Peters, and this is using his own words from the Midnight's Edge interview, that his Star Trek looked too good. It wasn't the fact that he was making money. It was because it looked too good.
It looked better than Discovery.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can name a few things. My beard comb looks better in Star Trek Discovery, and this can is better in Star Trek Discovery. But yeah, it's. I think it was because they were making a lot of money. That's my opinion. And you know, those things cost a lot of money to make. I'm not saying he was pocketing any of it or anything like that, but
yeah.
It certainly was a lot of money for a fan production, and it looked good. It did look good. It certainly, there were some talented people working on it. Robert Meyer Burnett was one of those talented people. And yeah, I dug it. I've watched it a bunch of times. We're not going to get the 2-hour movie or anything now.
I know, dude. I'm so pissed off at what happened with the Axanar stuff, because when I saw that trailer years ago, I was blown away, and I was really looking forward to it, and then crushed.
But none of the same people are there. I think Paul Jenkins, the comic book writer, is there now or something, or I don't know. But again, they're asking for more money, and there's a lot of controversy behind that production. And I don't endorse all of it. So
Gotcha.
I mean, do what you like, but yeah. Snow Dub, music and entertainment for $2. Much love to Gary and Josiah. Thank you for all you do. Snow Dub, I'm really, really happy that Meg is doing well, and you're doing well. And you guys are brilliant, and we need to get you on sometime once she's all healed up. Open door policy here, my friend. And just much love. And I'm glad she's doing better. And yeah, she's back from the hospital. Mega's back from the hospital. She had brain surgery, and she's doing better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. It all went well, and that's good. So, yeah, much love to Megs and Snow Dub, and thank you for all that you do for our community. I always love watching your videos. So, it's great.
Yeah, Snow Dub, you know, is a puppet. He's got the puppet, and he busts some rhymes down, and he's put me into it, and all the fandom menace, and that's super cool. You know, it makes this all worth it when like I get included with all those people. It's surreal and great, and fun, and the fandom menace fucking rules. Mr. Roboto, $2. Gary, that may be your ginger powers manifesting. Maybe a little bit of I was born a ginger, but it turned blonde. Sorry. But yeah, I had bright ass red hair when I was born.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Classic Comics, $2. Tom Bambadil spin-off solo film for the win. Who's
Tom Bombadil?
Bombadil.
Yeah, Tom Bombadil.
Bombadil.
I know he's a Tolkien character, but
yeah, he's in Fellowship of the Rings. He's towards the beginning of the books. He's not in the movies at all. Yeah.
He's the one missing character. He's the big missing character that I could never pronounce the last name of. Unfortunately, that's not what we're getting. But I think here I can tell you what you want to hear. Let's take a little break from this, and I will tell you what we're going to be getting from Lord of the Rings, because I bookmarked the article here. Okay, and then we'll go to so we're going to do the Lord of the Rings one first, and then we'll do the Game of Thrones one because it's the Game of Thrones one that has the language. So here we go. This is an old article, and we're just going to kind of go over it. And I don't know if all the we're going to go to a couple Lord of the Rings articles just to compare information because I don't know what's what, to be honest with you. So the Lord of the Rings prequel in the form of a TV series is highly anticipated, to say the least, despite the fact that we're likely years away. Well, not exactly. This is an older article, so I will correct this. This is like a year-old article, and I will correct it where it needs to be corrected. The Lord of the Rings was only bought, the rights. They have to put a show into production really soon, or they lose them completely. By the way,
right? Yeah.
While people are already making comparisons of the show to its likely competitors, Game of Thrones, namely, and they're bringing in a bunch of Game of Thrones people, there will be no competition in sight when it comes to the budget. The Lord of the Rings prequel has already beat every other TV show with its price tag. Here's everything you need to know, blah, blah, blah. And we know it's a TV series, Lord of the big name streaming service. The team up with HarperCollins and New Line Cinema. According to Hollywood Reporter, those producers approached Amazon, Netflix, and HBO. Not everyone expressed interest. Wow, really? According to Deadline, HBO turned down the show due to the insane costs. Okay. So it was between Amazon and Netflix offer up some major cash to take these shows. The show may be more expensive than Amazon is accustomed to, but they decided it was a good investment. They bought the rights knowing it's expected to be a front runner. After all, they can already expect fans of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit films, trilogies to come along for the ride. Well, I wouldn't necessarily.
It depends on how they handle it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If they take a dump on it, then no, it's not going to get the support. I mean, Lord of the Rings has a very hardcore niche fan base as well, and they would not be happy at all if something was. I mean, Lord of the Rings fans are pretty crazy. Like Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth and all that stuff is literally like sacred to people. So like, they can't mess with this if they want it to be successful.
And the story of honestly, to me, the first fandom, I could be wrong because I'm not that old. The first fandom was technically Doctor Who, but it could be argued that it was Lord of the Rings because it got popular again. Either it was popular when it came out, but it got really popular again in the 60s with the hippies, and the pipe smoking and stuff. So that kind of gave it that put it over put it in the stratosphere basically. And you're right, it's sacred. I remember sitting next to a guy who hated the freaking Fellowship of the Ring. He was like, that everything was wrong. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you kidding me? That thing was like, my God.
Yeah, exactly.
I sat down to watch that movie. I saw the trailer and I thought I was going to get like a fun, at the time, sci-fi level TV show, like something that was on cable. I was like, yeah, the graphics look okay. And I expected it to be fun. I did not expect this epic. And when I was done watching it, my jaw was on the ground. I'm like, oh, what was I just watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I just watched Star Wars. It was that good.
Yep.
Think if they would have taken 2 or 3 years between movies, they would have probably captured a generation like Star Wars did.
Yeah, it's true.
I really enjoyed those movies, man. It's like one of the few movies I actually own on DVD.
Yeah, those movies. There's very few things that are as special to me as the Lord of the Rings movies. Like they really have had some of the biggest impacts on my life, and like they made my childhood for me. Like they're just insanely special to me. I love them so much.
Yeah, well, it's part of the reason why I was really disappointed with The Hobbit too, because I enjoyed that trilogy so much, and then like I said, the first one came out, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Somebody said the first fandoms were soaps. I'm talking about genre because technically the first fandoms were sports. Were Olympics and sports and baseball. Those are the first fandoms. But the first genre fandoms to me were Doctor Who because it predates Star Trek. And I've been, studying the history of Doctor Who, and kids used to take their 8 or 16 millimeter cameras and sit them in front of their TVs. And this is what I used to do. I used to, like, I've told the story before, when like Close Encounters or Superman the movie would show on regular TV, I'd sit next to my TV with my little handheld cassette recorder and have like 6 90-minute tapes ready to go, and recorded the audio and pause during the commercials. And then I would listen to it at night when I was going to bed. I would listen to my recorded, version of Superman or something. Because that's all we had back then.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even have video back then, because I'm freaking old.
Did you know? Oh, I was just gonna say, did you know that in the, I think it was sometime in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, the Beatles actually wanted to do a Lord of the Rings movie.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, the Beatles actually wanted to do a Lord of the Rings movie with them playing the Hobbits, directed by Stanley Kubrick.
That would have been insane.
And they all took acid and never made the movie.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney was going to play Frodo.
Gonna be?
Yeah,
that would have been brilliant. Hey, I love a Beatle produced and saved, one of my favorite all-time movies, Time Bandits. So George Harrison.
Oh, yes. Dude. Yeah, I love Time Bandits.
Sharon Tal Yagado, Amazon's head scripted series, justified the pricey purchase. She should have just said, Jeff Bezos has basically got more money than God, but this is a unique opportunity to tell new stories remember this language here. This is a unique opportunity to tell new stories in a magical world that is a global phenomenon. As we build our diverse portfolio of programming, we are making some of our big bets on tentpole series. So, the way she used her language right there was just, we got a diverse portfolio. That sounds fine. It's fine. New stories. Why do we need to tell new stories?
Exactly.
They're mapped out for you.
Yeah.
You got to put in dialogue, but they're mapped out for you.
Man.
Jeez.
You guys will see the wrath of Josiah like nothing else if they mess this up. Like, this is something that is super, super important to me, and if they mess this up,
man, you know it's going to happen.
This
is the problem with current year and wanting to see, the stuff you love being made now, which sucks because of how great technology is when it comes to making films and whatnot. But fuck me, man, with the current year politics, I don't want to see anything I love made anymore. I really don't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if this is just gonna be a woke fest, I would rather have had it never been made and stuff in the first place. Oh man.
It's part of the reason why I know that a lot of people are wanting to see like a new Fantastic Four movie, made by Disney along with the X-Men. I'm like, no, you don't. You really, really don't.
No. I am not excited about Disney X-Men at all. I don't think it's going to be good.
It's going to be woke as hell. It's good. They're going to have this beta Wolverine. Masculinity is passé in Hollywood, folks. So
exactly.
And listen, we're not looking for we're not looking for a return to the 80s, although that would be kind of nice. And maybe we'll get that.
I'll take it, man. I'll take return to the 80s.
We can it's okay to have more female roles. Nobody's talking about egalitarian. That's what we're talking about. We want even. It's not even right now, and that the Herminator movie is the perfect example of just the biggest overreaction to something. And like nobody, it's definitely the Emperor has no clothes on. Nobody wants to talk about Sarah Connor being the I mean, basically Hillary Clinton with a gun. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's just, that's what it is.
I'm mad nobody voted for me.
Yep. Game of Thrones won't be let down by prequel, insists Naomi Watts. Now, this is fine. Everything's fine. It's a great team. Now, the fact that she says that acknowledges that season 8 was a letdown. It's a great team of people we've put together. Now, again, they're not coming out and saying anything obvious, but I want you to look at who the stars are. Remember that this is a genre fantasy, and the reason people read I'll use I statements. The reason I read fantasy novels is dudes in armor fighting, either orcs or beasts or elves with a wizard and magic spells and some dark evil lord and maybe a dragon, maybe something, a giant spider, something like that. That's why I watch it. I don't watch it for elegant people sitting in rooms, talking about politics. That was great in Game of Thrones, and that was unique about Game of Thrones, but it was part of the story. It wasn't the whole story.
Yeah, right.
It was an even balance,
Yeah.
So here's what they say when they are describing the show.
Another thing too, I want to point out, there's a difference between politics and political intrigue.
There's a description of the show in here. Did I miss it? Oh my God. Tell me this is the right article. It's called Blood Moon. And speaking, hopefully it's fans. I think it'll become a great team. Give me just a second because I might have pulled up the wrong one. This is just an interview with her, but they give a description of the show. According to Watch Game of Thrones, we left with a feeling of disappointment. Yeah, I got the wrong one. So I will find that. Hang on just a second. Because they talk about the White Walkers. There's going to be an origin of the White Walkers, which we didn't need to know.
Yeah. Why ruin a good mystery?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Man.
White Walkers. There we go. Hey, Comix, read some chat.
Crap. So, out of curiosity, have you been hearing about what's been going on with Avengers 20? Issue 20?
No.
So you have the whole War of the Realms thing going on right now, and apparently Jason Aaron is doubling down on the whole, Thor as a mantle thing, because and this is the best part. So She-Hulk is one of, I guess, a version of Thor now or something because of what's been going on, and there's a troll, and she gets pissed off because he makes a comment about Thor as his name. And so she rages out on him. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. This is the reason why I stopped reading Jason Aaron's crap. It's like, fucking let it go, man. It's like you are legit putting in the issue that fans had with Thor's name as a mantle, and you wrote it into your fucking book. That is a huge FU. It's fucking ridiculous.
All right, I found it, and that's not it. That's it right there. Okay, so I bookmarked the wrong article. I just wanted to get to the description that people have heard before. So the cast, by the way, it's cast with 4 female leads. Taking place thousands of years before the events of Game of Thrones, the series chronicles the world's descent from the golden age of heroes into the darkest hour, the network revealed. And only one thing is for sure: from the horrifying secrets of Westeros' history to the true origin of the White Walkers, the mysteries of the East to the Starks of legend, it's not the story we think we know.
Oh,
now,
boy.
That is a key comment right there. Now, again,
we're going to change everything.
Yes. Now, by the way, we know the story because there's a thing called The World of Ice and Fire that George R. R. Martin has delayed Winds of Winter to write. It was actually quite good. And there's Fire and Blood. So we've got quite a history. Now, he doesn't go back a few thousand years, but this is the major problem with the prequel. Number one, it's going to be 5,000 years. So we're in a Bronze Age. So it's not going to be that elegant, by the way.
Yeah,
we're talking about the first men. And yeah. So also, beyond that,
I'm late to actually, I would say it would probably be more like the Stone Age.
Yeah, so it's got four female leads. They're in. Well, it should be the Stone Age, but it's not. It's everything wrong. And that in itself, four female leads is fine if you make a Game of Thrones show. But everything is telling me, unless things change like real soon, anything made right now is still going to be woke. And honestly, it's getting so dated now. In a couple of years, these things are going to look trashy. And I think I'll call it right now. The Game of Thrones prequel is going to crash and burn. It's just people are not going to buy it. And HBO broke our trust. Dan and Dave broke our trust. They mailed it in. They fucked themselves by putting. I mean, there is such a bad taste in everybody's mouth, and to the point where the CEO of HBO hasn't even ordered this thing to series. It's still in pilot phase. So
I doubt
making a pilot.
At this point.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. They might be changing things up. So,
well, they might be, because they got an idea of how much money it would take to actually succeed with one of these things, and they got cheap in the end. I mean, what did you learn from that documentary? All they talked about was money,
right,
all the time. And if they would have put more money into it and more time and found a director who just, they hired, again, nepotism. They hired somebody they were comfortable with. He's talented as hell. Okay. Miguel Sapochnik is one of those really good directors, who just wasn't into it. He clearly wasn't into it.
Man. Yeah. I just, there's not very much that I'm excited about right now in the realm of TV that's being made right now. And I don't really trust anything that's being made right now either. So, I would say one of the only things that I'm mildly even close to being excited about is probably Stranger Things season 3. But even then, with the way that Netflix is going, who knows? Another series that I'm kind of looking forward. Well, I'm not saying I'm going to look forward to it, because they're probably going to mess it up too. But Netflix is going to be making like the Narnia books into a series as well, and I'm super terrified what they're going to be doing with that as well. So, because Narnia books were another series of books I grew up reading, and I love those books as well. So, Netflix is probably going to have more of a chance to go woke than even Amazon is, which is sad to say, but it's not going to be good.
No, unfortunately not. I hope so. But Wheel of Time, again, dying under your own weight. That's a lot of money to put out. There was another article. I'm going to get some super chats, and there's another article that kind of says that there might be some trouble. Like
for Wheel of Time.
No, Wheel of Time. The one thing I heard, I don't know, I've only read it in one article, is it's going to have a female lead. They're going to focus on the female instead of the men, and that's a bit of a problem with the story. Also, Lord of the Rings, has there been any casting? Anything?
We haven't gotten any news on the casting at all yet. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing some of that soon, though. I wouldn't. I mean, it's already like June 2019. We have to be hearing something soon about it. So
absolutely. I'll get that article.
I think we're past the point of overcorrection too. I think at this point the car has shot off the road, rolled down the embankment, and then exploded.
Yeah.
And honestly, making a prediction right now, I do think that because, especially since Lord of the Rings is very like male heavy, I really, really think that this Amazon series is probably going to be very female heavy and stuff. So that's probably the direction that they'll be going in with this as well. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I didn't even notice this article. I might do a video on this, but we're going to, is it from 2018 or 9? Yeah, it's 2019. So May 31st. Yeah. Well, let's read some more super chats and that's an interesting article. The article is from the Telegraph, and it says, is Amazon's 1 billion Lord of the Rings prequel already doomed? So we'll get to that in just a second. Dr. Venkman 2018 Tomb Raider movie was actually great. Dr. Venkman says it was great.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't see it, so I'll take Dr. Venkman's
it was I didn't think it was great. I mean, there's a lot of issues with the movie, but yeah, I'm glad he enjoyed it. So
yeah, not a bot. I don't believe you. For £2, says J.J. Abrams is almost the same level as Tommy Wiseau. He kind of is.
Tommy Wiseau is better.
Yeah, I'd rather
It
watch
has more
Tommy.
personality.
I did not. Mock. Hi, Mock.
Oh, hi, Mock.
Oh, hi, Mock. That's true. So you're officially not a bot, by the way. I'm just kidding. Classic Comics, $2. The Island was a remake of Parts the Clonus Horror. I believe you. I did not know. It just felt like a rehash of some of the elements from Logan's Run, but I have never even seen Parts the Clonus Horror. But I will divert to your knowledge, Classic Comics. I will divert to your knowledge. Thank you very much for the $2. The Rookie Critic is here. The heart and soul of the Phantom Menace. I got to get your okay, Rookie. That dialogue. I'm confused about something. So you have some lines for me, and then it's a speech. Am I supposed to ad lib the whole speech? Give me something to work with there. I don't know if it's too late or not. He gave me some lines, but I'm like, I got to some point and I'm like, do I have to make this up like on my own? Why am I all doing all the work here? I'm just kidding, Rook. I'm confused. But yeah, I'll get that to you ASAP once I figure that out. Lonnie Holcomb. Oh, by the way, he says on season 3 of Game of Thrones, this show is great. And it really, dude, you are in the best part.
Man. Yeah. That's awesome.
I can't wait till you get season 8. I mean, like, because he's burning through it now. And oh, dude.
Oh, man.
Lonnie Holcomb for $2 asks if there's any word on Ellen. I will check right now. I haven't checked since I did a video putting out some awareness, and this came out 3 hours ago.
Oh, by the way, Bruce, thanks again for the coffee, man.
Yeah, dude. My God, is it good?
Doesn't look like there's any updates on it yet. So
no, still haven't heard anything back from the surveillance. I'm so worried. I was planning on seeing her this weekend since I was heading up for my family reunion. I really hope she churns up and she's safe. Me, my brother, and cousin haven't stopped looking. Cross your fingers we find her ASAP. It certainly sounds like there's sightings of her car, but there's no sightings of her. So that's
that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Somebody I think I saw Anna say something about that. Somebody thought that they saw her with a dude or something in her car.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and if check out my video, and definitely call the police if you see her. Don't approach or anything like that. You don't want to scare her off or get. I mean, who knows if somebody's dangerous? Yeah, just don't put yourself in that situation.
It's just better.
It's just better to call the cops. They have all the resources in the world.
Yep.
Warren Roar for $4.99. Swamp Thing is so good. I pray it gets picked up somehow, and we should fight for it. Like the Expanse and Legion season 3 episode. Episode 1 was brilliant. Warren, I liked the woke stuff in there just really freaking chapped my hide. I'm like, God damn it, can't they just let a show be a show? Can't they? Because Noah Hawley is
Gary. Show just can't be a show anymore.
It can't, man. Aubrey Plaza was great in it. She's freaking great in everything, man. How the blankety blank did they get Christopher Tolkien to sign off on this Amazon thing? Don't forget, Netflix is planning on ruining Narnia. Yes. That's what Josiah was just saying. Alentien for $5. Thank you so much. Yeah, Warren, I can't say that Legion, it was bad, because it wasn't bad. It was, but we'll see where it goes. But it certainly took its, it certainly felt like it needed to adhere to the Bechdel test a little bit.
Oh, dude, the Bechdel test is such bullshit.
It's about as legit as that study Brie Larson had done on the critics from the Woke Foundation at USC. I don't know what the name of the foundation was, but
no, the Woke Foundation works.
The Woke Foundation works. Does that work? Okay. Rookie Critic, you're brilliant, by the way. Movie theaters are great, but I wish they'd adapt. And they're trying for $2. Thank you, Rookie Critic. And they are trying. The thing is, it's kind of too late. For one, the digital projections aren't that great. The comfy chairs are awesome. The assigned seats are great, but it's $50 if it's me, my wife, and my kid, and we get our snacks at Walgreens, where you can get like 4 things of candy for $4, and you get 1 popcorn there. It's still $50.
Yeah.
I got my tickets for Spider-Man. I'm going to go see Spider-Man. So
I'm pretty fortunate. Usually when it's usually just me going to the movie. My wife doesn't really watch a lot of movies. She doesn't like going out for some reason. But yeah, so for me, it's usually about $20 because I get my ticket and I get a drink, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me, I need to get my Spider-Man ticket.
Yeah, I usually don't even get any of the concessions anymore. I usually just get my ticket and I just go right in. I'm not going to spend money on all of that. So
you're much better off. Smart man. Baptist 702, $5. Hollywood won't stop until they nearly run to the ground. That's why independent creators like y'all are necessary. God bless Josiah. Hashtag God bless Josiah. God bless Josiah.
Oh,
that's
thanks.
Right. He needs it.
I mean, I agree. I think that I think that they're just going to be kicking, screaming the whole time. It's very similar to what's happening with the mainstream media too at this point, I think, as well, or traditional media, I should say.
Legacy
I think that
media.
Yeah, I think that they're kind of in the same boat right now, and
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they're just gonna kick and scream all the way till they die. So
yeah.
Oh, it's gonna crash and burn, baby. It's unfortunate, but
it really is.
Sometimes things need to die.
God dang, I'm just realizing I got to get my toxic mail bag. I've got like this giant boxes of toxic mail bag that I need to. Oh, I just knocked my camera over. That I need to get together, but I just don't have time. I will get it together though, because somebody sent me like these bitch buttons, and here, is there a card in there? I think there's a card in there. That would be fantastic. Hang on. Ah, yes. Okay. So these were sent, and this magnet right here.
Oh,
magnet. Yeah, these are like
nice.
These are so well done. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
cool.
Tara Thralls, and I'm gonna have to get here. Oh, that's good. I have this. Yes, I have this. Because I need my progressive. So this is a psychedelic. What is it? Psychedelic. I can't read. Psychedelic Etsy. And it's Tara Thralls. So Tara, thank you so much. I don't want to, I can't. Here, I'm going to cover up her digits, but thank you, Tara, so much. That is brilliant. We're going to put that on Instagram. Thank you for the magnets and the buttons. And yeah, we got big
cool
buttons. I'm gonna like that one's cool. I love
oh nice
girl there. Yeah,
nice.
These are like legit. I am so excited for these. So we're gonna we need to talk, Tara. Maybe we can if that's something you did, then then sold. You're hired. We'll get that done. Melissa loved them. Okay, so yes, we're gonna have by the way, I'm going to be making my own shirts now. I found a place. I got a place here. It's going to be way cheaper. And we can, what I'll do is anybody who's bought one, the Teespring ones, I'm wearing a Teespring one, or I was, I'm not wearing it now. But I like the Teespring ones. I got the stickers. I wasn't, they're okay. They're okay. I got one of these. It took forever to get these things. They take forever, but I'm going to be doing my own. So what we'll do is we're going to try to maintain the quality from Teespring, because Teespring shirts are actually good, but I'm trying to make them a little cheaper. And what we can do is work a deal. If you bought something off Teespring, in the future, I'll give you like a huge discount or something, or send you something, but we'll talk about that later. But that is, we're working on a meetup. I still got to talk to Jeremy about that stuff. I know where I want to meet up, but he might want, if Jeremy's going to bring a crowd, if it's just me, 5 people show up to a comic shop. Jeremy goes somewhere, it's going to be thousands of people where it's going to get run over. They're going to want to do, he should just sit on the street in his car and then like do car videos with all of his fans. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Oh man.
I love this. TK $4.99 says best quote of the stream, get effed, man. Get effed. To me, well, I mean, I regularly, yes.
I think I don't know. I think I was the one who said get fucked. So
yeah. Jason, but thanks TK $4.99. Tokyo Gaijin for 2,400 yen. Hashtag find Ellen. Glad to catch you all on my lunch break. Jaloja. Hey, Jaloja. And have a good lunch. I'm sure you already ate. My good friend Tokyo Gaijin. And Baptist 702, thank you for the $5. TK, thank you for the $4.99. Jason Green for $5. I love the risks creators took in the 80s. Knight Rider and A-Team are two of my favorites. Absolutely. A-Team shot the shit out of people and nobody died or bled. It was crazy.
Oh, they mostly shot the ground, I think.
Dude, they had the Uzis out and they were shooting and nobody died. It was great. The freaking 80s. They're doing a car show on History with Dirk Benedict and what Eric Estrada and Dirk Benedict, Eric Estrada, and David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, don't Hasselhoff.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Hans Mercier for Canadian $2. What did you think of the Krypton show? I couldn't stand it. I reviewed the whole first season. It was terrible. And David Goyer is when he's not being babysat by Christopher Nolan, he's awful. And I also know some inside dope on that guy, and he's a total douchebag. He the whole Wesley Snipes thing, he screwed over Wesley Snipes, and one of my lawyer deposed him and did not have a lot of nice things to say.
What else has David Goyer done? I can't remember off the top of my head.
He's done a bunch of stuff. He wrote co-wrote Superman, Batman, I think. Co-wrote Dark Knight. I'm pretty sure Batman Begins. Okay. Anytime he does stuff on his own, he sucks. But when he's with other people, he's got decent comic knowledge. He wrote a pretty decent comic book series in the early aughts. But he's the guy who like got his tattoo sleeve like all in one sitting and picked everything off the wall, and you know, that kind of guy. Bruce Lombardo for $9.99. Will we ever have a wonderful span of imagination like the 80s? The era of giants like Glenn Larson has been gone for a while, and it is sad. Try to watch anything today. Hashtag unsustainable. I read that earlier, but I'll read it again. There are good things. It's far and few between, and 2016 has ruined entertainment, but I'm not sure they entirely come back. And I've asked this before, guys. Could you see a time, maybe not in our lifetime, but 100 years from now, where people look back and kind of think it was funny that we used to watch make-believe stuff to pass the time? It's like people used to watch like people pretending to be other people for hours on end. That's interesting. And I think the future might be this. I think the future might be IGTV, just us interacting live. Honestly, I would rather watch a Comix Division or JosiahRises live stream, and I'm not kidding, than most TV shows. The first thing I go to is YouTube now to watch a live stream.
Right.
If EBS is on, Cecil. Yeah, it's, you know.
I don't know. I don't think make-believe entertainment is gonna fully go away, because you know there is a need in the human psyche for mythology and great storytelling. So I don't see it going away. I do see it evolving. I do think it will evolve past theaters and maybe even television, but I don't think it's storytelling's ever going to go away.
I think it stays within games. I think video games definitely will last. I think they'll be the next thing to last the longest to me. It's just interaction.
With the state of the industry right now, that's
dude,
questionable at this point.
The video game industry goes through dark periods all the time.
I think you'll probably see a lot more interactive entertainment,
but TV,
especially when it comes to like immersive entertainment.
But TV is the future right now. But a film has basically been on this giant trajectory up. And it's honestly been, the MCU films and record-breaking numbers. I understand that, but everything else sucks. And it's basically, we saw this happen with music. Music's still around. It's not going away, but it's not nearly as important as it used to be. Music used to be number one over movies and TV and everything in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, 80s. Music was above all of that. Actors wanted to be rock stars. Because it was the pinnacle and it was the most sophisticated thing. Look at the albums we got. We got double albums, concept albums. That shit doesn't happen anymore. There might be some outlier out there, but honestly, there's no super groups anymore. Remember, God, we used to have multiple bands that could fill out multiple stadiums at one time. Like the Who and the Rolling Stones would be on tour in the same year, with Pink Floyd and freaking Led Zeppelin. It's like, shit, that's crazy. It's not happening anymore.
Well, I think a lot of that too is that a lot more music is being kind of more so manufactured. I think pop music is very manufactured, and I guess maybe even to an extent rock and roll. But I think a lot of it has to do with the era of which all that kind of occurred. Well, right now everything has just become so corporate.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what's happening in the blockbuster films right now.
Yeah,
exactly what's happening. And
exactly.
When Napster came around for music, they did not adapt. They had their moment. They had their chance. They didn't adapt. And we are out of ideas. Hollywood blockbusters, they're just going to keep making more blockbusters, by the way. They're not going to stop. Marvel's nowhere near stopping. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm not going to sit here and say Marvel's going to start, bombing anytime soon, but they're definitely, we've talked about this before.
They're on the down curve, though.
Yeah, they cannot maintain that forever. I mean, nobody expects them to, but the stockholders do, and that's the problem.
I think the future is going to, as far as when it comes to like film and TV and things like that, I think it's going to start in the future slowly falling more to the hands of, more independent people, more people who that's not necessarily like just YouTubers, but I think more people along the lines of like a YouTube type of medium will be creating more of the series and the shows and the stories that people want to watch and appreciate more. I think that's kind of where the future will be heading. So.
I agree. That was one thing I was wanting to hit on too, especially with the affordability of the technology to make music or to make a movie. As that becomes cheaper and cheaper, I think you're going to see more and more independently produced movies and maybe even web series and whatnot that people will probably gravitate towards, because obviously Hollywood's not doing the job, so there's a void, and that void's going to come from independent creators.
Yep. I totally agree. Yeah.
There needs to be more audio dramas. That's the one thing the Brits get right, man.
Oh, man. I love audio dramas, man. Oh, it's so good.
They're the freaking best, right? Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, man. It's probably one of the best audio dramas I've ever heard.
Absolutely. It's the king. It's the king. But you know what? The old BBC Lord of the Rings one. Have you heard that one, Josiah?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. I mean, it's super British but it's great. Yeah, I would love a Song of Ice and Fire audio drama. Come on, George, make it happen, dude.
That'd be awesome.
So brilliant.
Awesome.
There's some comic ones out there. Dark Empire is genius. It's really good. That's actually going to be the first one on my audio theater coming soon to Patreon. Secret place on my website just for my patrons. All right, so we're going to go to Cobra Viper for $2. Battle Beyond the Stars was better than STD. Yes, it was by a long shot. Debbie Does Dallas is better than STD. Behind the Green Door is better than STD. Getting an STD is better than STD. Maybe not, but keep up the fight, Fandom Menace. I want my entertainment back, says Anthony Mata for $4.99. Yes, just our entertainment back. We aren't asking for anything other than that. Would you stop using it as a political platform and just entertain us? You pretend for a living. It's a great talent. You earn your money when you're good at it. Nobody questions that at all. But we really don't care what you think about climate change or immigration. I really don't. Because I'm just saying that a person's lifestyle, especially when you're a successful actor, you are detached You're detached from. You don't even know who you are anymore because you're pretending so much. And you're partying all the time, and normal people don't live like that. Now there are actors and actresses who live pretty normal lives. As a matter of fact, I know one. All right, I know one. She's a mom. She's like a soccer mom, and she plays bit parts. That's all she's ever done. That's all she ever wants to do. She goes in auditions, and she always gets roles. Been doing it for years. She's been in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's been in Firefly. She's brilliant, and her sister works for my wife. And there's a way to do it, and she's very grounded and normal. But most people aren't there. I mean, so we really don't care what you think.
Yeah.
But by all means, looks stupid as hell. Kyle Jones, $10.
He's actually pretty grounded too.
Yeah.
Who is?
Keanu.
Yeah.
Reeves.
Yeah,
Well,
he is.
I was thinking back on D&D's explanation of Danny going crazy the other day, and it honestly would have been more satisfying if they said King's Landing wasn't feng shui enough for Danny. I know, right? That would have made more sense. Like, I don't like how it's lined up. I'm just going to burn it to the ground and rebuild it because all the streets are going the wrong way or something. The more explanation we get, it becomes clear. A lot of times, perception is reality. It really looks like they were detached. It really looks like they had one foot out the door. They were very excited about Star Wars. The more we hear they have been actually working on it for quite some time. And it sounds like they used up that extra year to work on their Star Wars stuff and not on Game of Thrones stuff. And it showed. The end product showed. And that's that. And you just tarnished your legacy forever.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Because you couldn't wait.
So sad. Oh man.
It just sucks. Hey, listen, they were tired. I understand that. Get help.
Yeah,
Get help.
say if you're tired, hand it over to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. I mean, from what I heard, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. It was a while ago when I read this, but I heard something like, didn't HBO even offer them more time or something too?
They did.
They did. So.
Here's what happened.
They want to be done with it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was the human condition. So HBO, the overlords, they don't want to be bothered with that stuff. Listen, they don't want to work very hard. So once they found a couple of guys who were just a moneymaker machine, they're like, great, we can just kick back, count the money when it comes in, and go on our yachts and do a bunch of blow. In my opinion, allegedly. And Dan and Dave started slacking at their job. People would go, what? There were people. Yes, there was tons of crew members. There was tons of people working their asses off and getting paid a lot of money to make pretend stuff for a pretend show. So I don't want to hear people working like they were in a salt mine. Okay. You were making a TV show. You were paid handsomely for it. You begged for that job. You got it. And then when things got tough, you withered.
Yep.
You just did. Sorry.
Yeah.
Them's the breaks.
Yep.
That's Hollywood.
Plus, with Disney dangling the Star Wars in front of their noses too, that probably didn't help them either. So
no, and you didn't help your prequel, which, by the way, my theory is they had more story of Night King. They were going to do more with the Night King, and they decided to hold back. They didn't want to tell too much of his story because they want to save it for the prequel.
But the way that they handled the Nightwalker or the White Walkers just so weakly is not going to be helping the prequel either with the White Walkers.
Nope.
So.
No, it's really not.
Are they a threat now? Do you care? Do you care how this? It's like, oh, they look at this origin of these guys who didn't make it off of their front lawn.
Yeah,
exactly. It's so stupid.
It is. I mean, when you put it like that, which is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Like you built up this ultimate threat, and then with the snap of a finger, almost like Thanos, you wipe it out. So there is no tension. And it's like, and now you're going to give us the origin story to this thing that apparently wasn't a big deal. Why?
Hey, they actually foreshadowed it in the episode. Remember when the Dothraki went to their death? Well, that was foreshadowing of the White Walkers. That's pretty much the same thing happened to them.
Yep, exactly.
It was the Assassin's Blade, man. The Assassin's Blade. Fat Gandalf for $1.99. Those people conjure cheap tricks. These people conjure. They're conjurers of cheap tricks.
That's pretty accurate,
tongue.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am no conjurer of cheap. I'm trying to help you. Yes, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. It's like, they got Bilbo right there. He's a little obsessed with the ring. That's Hollywood, and we're Gandalf going, we're trying to help you. And then he
But
whimpers and
we're
gives him a hug.
we're the toxic fans. We're the ones that are entitled because we want things that are good. No,
How dare you
we're
want
just
good
entitled and
entertainment?
toxic.
That's horrible. It's horrible if you just want good entertainment.
It is. It's horrible, Josiah, that you don't want to be spoon-fed corporate crap. Know your place, Josiah.
I'm just a freaking troll. That's all I am.
Fight Club 2, the graphic novel, Frank Palmieri for $1.99. I gotta finish it to let you know. I started it, I liked it, and then I brain went somewhere else.
Yeah,
and that was months ago.
I have all the floppy issues.
I liked it. God, that just reminds me. So, you know what I really loved, really loved, was Do Androids Dream of Electrical Sheep? So they did a comic book series on Philip K. Dick's like actual book, and that was good. That was good. So if you can find that, that's good,
dude. I have to check that out.
Jason Fiola, sorry, Jason, for $2. Love you as much as the quartering. LOL. That's awesome. That's great. Or unless you hate the quartering. That's then it's not awesome. No, I'm just kidding, Jason. Hey, that's cool. Jeremy from the quartering. Like I said, his videos are so good. I don't game, and I subscribe and watch all of his videos.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I feel completely dialed in watching Jeremy, and he was kind enough to do a video for Anna too.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
that's awesome of him.
Yep, definitely.
Captain Spire, $5. How much you want to bet the triple down on the part where women only being able to kill the Nazgul and make an epic tale based on that? So only women will be so they'll triple down on that part where women only being able to kill the Nazgul. I think you just gave him an idea, Captain Spire. You got to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was another thing in Legion.
Figured it out.
Another thing in Legion is only women can time travel. That was the other thing that bugged me in Legion.
Only women can time travel. What?
Only women can time travel.
Because that makes so much sense.
That's not sexist at all.
No. Everyday sexism.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot what the reason was given. It's probably because you have perception. I forgot what. I'll find that again. But yes, only women in the
male gaze.
It is. That's it. They can escape the male gaze. Bruce Lombardo, $4.99. Tommy Wiseau does Star Wars. Leia, you're tearing me apart.
The question is, who would he be playing? Would he be playing Han or would he be playing Luke?
That's a good question. I would say both.
Yeah. Good answer. If he could wear like really terrible wigs. Like with his hair draping down the blonde wig for Luke.
You're tearing me apart. The rookie critic for $2. Oh, I made him feel. I'm sorry if I made you feel bad. I was just joshing you, man. Okay, I'll give better guidelines. I'll have something for you very, very soon, my friend. Thanks for considering me. Thank you for the $2. You are still the heart and soul of the Phantom Menace, and I look forward to your crushing disappointment at the end of Game of Thrones when you're done. I'll be there for you, man. I'll be there for you.
He'll start the support group.
Yes. Jason Fiola, $2. Your microphone is the coolest with Q on it. Yes. Thank you. I put a lot of flair on my microphone. I did. Because why not?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Not?
My microphone is bare. It has no flair.
Well, one of these days we'll get to see your pretty face.
Yeah, one of these days maybe. No
problem. Oh my god! Yeah, you guys and gals don't know what you're missing. It's like it's like Robert Shaw had a baby with trying to think of somebody good looking from the old days.
You're just gonna lead everyone to disappointment, man.
Like Paul Newman and Robert Shaw had a baby. That's it. That's right.
You guys are getting so fucking trolled right now.
Captain Spire.
What he's not telling you is I'm a fat man in a mankini.
Hey,
man.
there's some people who are really into that kind of stuff, especially where I am.
Well,
You'd be very popular. Yeah, you're not. Shut up. You know what? He looks like the lead singer of a '90s band. Totally looks like the lead singer of a '90s band.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, like NoFX. Right? Yeah, like your lead singer of NoFX.
Well, Fat Mike is fat for a reason.
Yeah. Is it safe to mail you things? Yes. No Orville anything at Comic-Con. In fact, there is no new sci-fi toys for anything, just lots of artwork. At the con you're at? Yeah, I have a PO box, Captain Spire. My PO box is PO box Nerdrotic, care of Gary Beekler, PO box 236, or is it 239? I always get it wrong now. Hang on. It's at nerdrotic.com. It is totally safe to mail me stuff, and I've got to go pick up. And everything that gets mailed gets put on the Instagram. I've got piles of stuff that's going to go on the Instagram, and then you're going to get mentioned in a live stream as well. So if we go to the right here, yeah, it's PO Box. Okay, yeah. So Nerdrotic Hair, Gary Beekler, 236 West Portal Avenue, number 9, San Francisco, California, 94127.
The Simic me just posted it, so you're covered. Man.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we got a couple more super chats, and we're going to get to that other article. So lots of art. Yeah, you know what, Captain Spider, there's going to be tons of Orville stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. They're launching a comic book. They're doing a panel. Expanse is going to be there. They're going to have an immersive Expanse experience and immersive Boys experience. The Amazon is going to have a huge panel, and that's where we're going to end the live stream, where we're going to talk about the Comic-Con stuff. If you guys can send positive vibes to Jessie Milestone, that would be great. She needs the positivity. Thanks all. Bruce Lombardo, $4.99. Yeah, I saw her video, and yes, they are being sent. We've all been through that, Bruce, and it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it cool. And of course, we're gonna send her virtual hugs and all that stuff, and she'll get through it, and she'll be stronger for it. But I won't tell her that right now because she'll probably punch me. But certainly, soul crushing things happen a lot. And it sucks. But she's very strong. She'll get through it. Logan, for Liberty, $2. What comics do you recommend to new comic readers? Old ones.
Yeah.
Old ones. The only new one I'm reading right now is a Batman comic by Snyder. But honestly, what I just recommended to you, the Do Androids Dream of Electrical Sheep, definitely try Fight Club 2, anything by Grant Morrison, pick up some Swamp Saga, the Swamp Thing trades, or the comic books. I'm reading that right now. Well, I'm supposed to be reading it, but my eBay purchase ended up being an empty box. But
dude, no fucking way.
Yeah, dude.
Oh wow.
Got an empty, and the freaking dumb postman delivered it with it's clearly cut open, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you see this is an empty box, and he just looks at me with this blank look.
Oh, dude,
like, are you on methadone, dude? I mean, what the hell?
Man.
So whatever. Yeah.
So one I highly recommend, which has been pretty good, is Thief of Thieves. It's a image book, and that's really fucking good. Another one too, this is from DC, I've been enjoying, is Silencers from New Age of Heroes, which I don't think it's going to be going on for much longer. I think they canceled it, but it's a really good series. Let me see what else I've been reading that's actually passable as a comic book these days.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the Batman one. It's like something Night. It's by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. It just came out. It's really good.
Middle West, that's been really good too. I also enjoy Rat Queens, which is pretty funny. A lot of people think it's an SJW book, but it's actually not. It's written by a dude that really likes D&D, and it's campy as hell. but all the main characters are female. It's more kind of just playing with tropes, D&D tropes.
What is the name of that damn book? Whatever. It's a new, but yeah, it's probably sold out, but it's pretty good. Magic Order, if you're in the really weird stuff, that's okay.
Dude, yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, that's Mark Millar. That one's pretty good too. But honestly, if you're just starting out in comics, email me, Logan for Liberty, for $2. And here's what the question I always ask people who came into my store is, what are your favorite movies? What are your favorite TV shows? And you tell me that, and I can, if you're just starting out comics, I can recommend you 5 or 10 things instantly that you will probably like, that are in your wheelhouse. But I got to find out what your wheelhouse is. And that's it. That's part of a retailer's job, was matching the person to their story, because there's a story for everyone, and everyone's a story. Star Wars for Life, Jeremy's Instagram fan. What's up? $9.99. Hi, Nerdrotic, Josiah, and friend everyone. I'm working Comic-Con. Hope to meet you and Jeremy. Come home, Nerdrotic. I love my city. Home, sweet home, San Diego. I know. I miss San Diego every day. I do. But I left for a woman, and that, that's the way it is. And yeah, so, but I would, I've been trying to talk her to move back. She just doesn't like it down there. So we're trying to, I'm moving out of here soon. That's part of the,
but you need to get out of California, period. That's kind of the big thing.
Yeah. I'm tired of paying too much when I don't need to. And, the whole hope of buying a building here to put my little shop in is just
not going to happen.
Yeah, unless it's in the Mojave Desert, and even then. So yeah, God, I keep promising. I got to figure. The GoFundMe thing. I just got to figure it out. It's going to take a week or two, but it'll be before con. Unhinged Crank, $2. Almost done with Expanse book 2. Excellent. That's a good book, by the way. Those first 2 are amazing. I hope you are enjoying them. Keep going, because book 5 is spectacular. Christy Miller, $2. Just supporting my favorite guys, Nerdrotic Comics, and totally left out Josiah. Just kidding, but she did.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Totally fine.
Just kidding, Christy. It's cool. Thank you for the $2, and thank you for your support, and thank you for the wrench. Greatly appreciate it. North American Hamrummer for $5. The Fandom Menace is the grindstone. This new environment introduces aesthetics and criticism to normies. Future writers will rise. Cross fingers. They will rise. We are seeing it, right, Josiah?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna say much about it right now, but I personally am even working on some things myself. So, it's gonna be really exciting to see what happens. I think that as the Phantom Menace continues to grow as a community, we're going to see a lot of awesome things happening within our community. So it's going to be great. Yeah,
it is. And real quick, again, the pitch, the comic shop, it's so it was always supposed to be part of the plan, like I've said before, but it got sidelined because comics were so bad, and I had to kind of just rethink. My plan was always to be kind of a back issue toy store first, but still sell some new comics. Now the new comics are off the table. I'm not going to sell any new comics unless they're Indiegogo stuff, but that'll still be a very small shelf. It's going to be a back issue vintage toy vinyl shop, and the reason I'm even going back to this is because I'm doing it a little different way. I'm taking all the bad stuff out of the comic stores, which is basically dealing with Diamond and new comic books, and just doing all the fun stuff. And then we're going to do shows from the store, shows from whatever room I'm in at the time. We're going to start out with an online store, then do a pop-up in San Francisco, and then get a brick and mortar within a year. And the whole plan is to give my son a place to work, and it'll be his someday. So that's the plan.
That's really awesome. That's really exciting. Yeah.
Yep. And he can do it. I mean, like I said, he's like an encyclopedia, a DC encyclopedia right now. Like once awesome. I'm done, once he hears me being done, he'll come to the door and he'll tell me some new thing he's learned about DC.
Nice.
He wants to reboot the entire universe. He thinks Dan Didio should be fired. And he's not fond of Jim Lee. Yes. No, he's funny. He's like, they screwed everything. He's all, New 52 really did screw everything up, didn't it? I'm all, yeah,
it did.
It really did. And then he goes, why does Dan Didio still have a job? Well, I don't know. Because he makes some money. I mean, he makes some money. But
there's several people at Marvel. I'm still wondering why they have a job. You know, Tom Brevoort comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, Dan Didio compared to anybody at Marvel is genius. I don't mean to sound too hard on him. Like, DC is so much better. But look at this dumb thing they just did. They canceled Vertigo, a brand, a well-known brand, because they decided to waste it on a bunch of shite heads, and then they had to rebrand Vertigo because the people they hired to do it burned it out so fast and tainted the brand so quickly that they couldn't use it anymore. A brand that was built up for decades. There is people like crushed that Vertigo died. Crushed. I mean, did you see the tweets? Like Paul Levitz wrote an op-ed in ICV2 or Bleeding. I think it was ICV2. I saved it. I was going to do a video on it because it was basically it was a backhanded slap on the current comic industry, guised in a love letter for Janet Kahn, for the old editor for Vertigo. Paul Levitz, I wish he never would have left, to be honest with you. That guy was brilliant. He ran a tight ship at DC. I loved his work at DC, but not everybody did. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
Vertigo being gone sucks.
I just don't care anymore, which is the thing that is so damn disappointing, is the fact that I just don't really care. It's a shame that Vertigo's gone, but it's just another, oh well, they fucked the industry so badly now. It's none of this really matters anymore.
No. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'm sad about Vertigo, but they're reaping they
got what they deserve.
This is consequences. This is the consequences
absolutely
of not listening to your customers for 3 years now, and painting them as bad guys. And
yeah.
But
you know what do I know? I'm just a toxic fan. So.
Yep. Nothing, obviously, just nothing. Yeah. You just bought all the stuff because all the stuff I mean, like, how many times do we got to say it? Like, the people don't buy. They don't have money and they don't care. They just want to tweet about it. You know what? They want enough knowledge of a comic to know about it, to tweet, to show that they read something they're not really. It's posers. It's so weird. Nerddom got taken over by two things. It got taken over by the fringe extremist elements of nerddom. There's like the Taliban of nerddom, the Alternative Press Expo, the Cal Arts students who never liked superhero comics ever. And then it also got taken over by the jocks. So it's weird. It's weird what happened to genre. And, you know, it seriously looks like it's coming to the end, but it might be the end for our beloved comic book industry as well.
You know what? At the end of the day, I'm fine with that.
I don't know if I am.
No, I mean, at this point, it would just be a mercy killing. You know, I mean, we'll always have this stuff.
But it was a huge part of my life. I mean, like, I made my money in this, and yeah, good. It's
well, don't you think? I mean, I don't know much about the comic industry or anything, but don't you think something similar could happen with that, with independent comic writers kind of rising up and stuff? And
yeah, I mean, the big two
the industry.
It will replace the industry. It won't be the industry that we know.
No.
Is it sustainable over years? I don't know. I think it will be for some individuals. It'll be like you're basically going to be a novelist at this point, because they're not going to be able to pump out comic books once a month. So that will be done. So now you're going to have to produce basically a novel. Okay, right. That's great. You know, you can produce a comic book a little faster because obviously it won't be as long. But you're going to have to be just a popular person. Building your platform on YouTube will probably help a lot. But yeah, once you get, but then where does it go from there? You know, like, how much money can you make from that?
I think
Right.
a lot of what's been going on, at least like the people I still talk to that were in Comicsgate, a lot of them have just shifted over to manga or manga, pronounce it properly.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
I mean, it's like, we still have stuff out there to read. It's just not Western stuff.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and that's the thing. And this is why, to a degree, I'm fine with it. It sucks that I've gotten to this point where I just don't give a shit anymore because I love comic books. But
Yeah, I'm totally not fine with it. I'm pissed.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
I am
I'm not
too.
going to read manga. I've been through the manga wave, and people have been saying that for decades, like literally decades. People who like manga are going to like manga, and it's very good. It's just not anything I'm really into. The storytelling is cool. I like some of the, I like some of it.
There's
I've read
some stuff I like. It's not
yeah.
necessarily my thing, but there's
It's just not
certain
my
things I
thing.
do like. Yeah.
I don't like the art. The art I like. I obviously something that's very old fashioned because the new comics aren't drawn that way too. I like freaking George Perez, John Byrne comic book art. That's what I like. Classic American comic book art. And there's still, I mean, there's enough out there that I haven't read that I'm just gonna, I'll just buy back issues. And that's what I found that was the most fun I had being a fan was, have my little list on a piece of paper, which you guys, if you see me at Comic-Con, I don't put a list in my phone or anything. I have my little piece of notebook paper and my handwritten list, and I'll be running around the same back issue places trying to fill the holes, man, fill the holes. And it sucks. It totally sucks. But you're right.
It does, man. It does. But like I said, I've gotten to the point where I just don't care. I'm going to continue to buy stuff. It's probably going to move more towards older stuff, like a lot of people have been doing.
No, I don't blame you at all. I mean, the way they've treated you and everybody else, I can see how you would like. I wouldn't be very forgiving of that. Even if they came out and said they're sorry tomorrow, it's like damage done, buddy. I mean, like I'll forgive you, but I won't forget.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that is a huge step forward, which they will not do, of course.
No, of course not.
Is to apologize for what they've done. But that's not going to happen.
No.
It's the same thing with Disney and Star Wars. I mean, that's the first step of rebuilding that bridge is to say, we're sorry for what we did to this beloved franchise. We made a huge mistake. We're sorry. That's a start, but it doesn't excuse anything they've done. Yep. They fucked the franchise. And it's the same shit that happened with Marvel.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right, man. I still feel, I mean, I know you don't care, but I can tell you care.
I do care, but I'm angry, but I'm over it, kind of.
No, there's a time you got to move on, or it's just like, okay, enough. Like, and I think that's a lot with
I'm done wasting my time.
Yeah, the self-publishing thing was the solution part. I think it was just like, okay, we're not changing these people's minds, but that's not happening. So what do we do now? And it's like, and I thought that was a natural progression. Not anything is pulled off perfectly, but I think it needed to happen. You know what? I was always protective of my brothers and sisters' comic book retailing, but honestly, they could have stopped this a long time ago. They had all the power. They really did. And they didn't do shit. So I mean, I feel bad, but not that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, Yeah. So, and honestly, I can give you a quote. I won't say the name, but when I did bring it up to a big time retailer, that retailer said to me, "Oh, no, that's good. Less competition."
Yeah.
Well, by the way, to preface that, I was talking about all the comic shops closing, and this unnamed retailer said, "Oh, good, less competition."
Yeah, because less competition, more like less places to carry product and keep the industry going. That's more what the issue is.
Yep.
But less competition. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Dumbass.
Oh man.
Fucking dumbass.
Alarak Harrison for $1.99. Everyone read the Dune Saga if you haven't already. I was sent the book and I am going to read it. I'm going to read it. It's time. I've tried multiple times and I couldn't get into it, but I'm older now, so maybe I'll be a little more patient. I don't know. We'll see. Eric K for $2. I miss La Jolla every day too, Gary. Yeah, La Jolla is beautiful. That's where my Grammy lived down in La Jolla, and I spent some time down there. Love the Cove. Yeah. Had a little girlfriend down there for a while. Yeah, she was cute. Back to when I was like 14. Her name was Jessica. Technobabble for $5. Hey, Gary, love the channel. Red Letter Media just did a review of Discovery Season 2. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. They didn't, you know what? I liked it. Those guys are freaking great. They deserve their 1,000,000 subs. I know it was a joke, but melting all those action figures as an action figure person, I want to slap them for that, but I still like them.
Did they actually do that? That's funny.
Yeah, they did. Like vintage Star Wars action figures, and they're trying to prove point was proven. Wow, that was a painful one.
I haven't kept up with them lately. I've been pretty busy, but I do love their channel, but I have to check that out. I know that they do like their geek podcasts, which are very satirical and very funny.
Yes. No, they're great. The geek guys or the geek, the geek guys. Yeah, they're hilarious. No, but their Star Trek Discovery review was spot on a lot of things, and I loved the fact that they didn't really necessarily review the series. Because when I saw that video come up today, I'm like, God damn it! Now I've been working my ass off on a season 2 review. That's Mahler like, and it's dude, it's gonna be a while. It might be season 3 when you actually see it, but it's good. No, these slow times right here when I'm not putting out like news videos, I'm working on that, and I was like, God damn it. But they didn't really go over the show, but they hit a lot of things maybe I wouldn't have, talking about the writing and the best thing they did though, because I'm having tons of trouble with this, is there's so much nonsensical technobabble bullshit. I can't keep track of it all. I have notes. I'm writing a script for the first time ever because I can't keep track of the stupidity. They drop ideas and forget about them so much. I can't keep up. And then I'm like, I get to the end and I'm like, why did that happen? And they brought it up in the review. It's like, why was Spock framed by Leland and put into the psycho ward when Leland wasn't the evil AI yet? I mean, and you think about it and you're like, there was no reason. There was absolutely no. Leland had no motivation to do that unless he was already AI, because they lost track. You could tell that the showrunners were fired halfway through the season, and they just tacked on, and they didn't want to explain any stuff, so they just threw a bunch of explanations at you that didn't need to make a whole lot of sense. Like, they even get caught by their own interviewer at the end of the season. Their own interviewer at CBS All Access asked them, why did Michael Burnham travel back in time to World War III and save an entire, and that she didn't even ask how. So Michael Burnham used a time suit, went back to World War III right before a nuclear bomb was going to land on a church, and she somehow magically beamed all the people and the church with her suit that we didn't know had this kind of power to a different planet, at a certain time. So it would be a home base for her when she goes to the future 900 years. The interviewer asked, hey, there's some cam footage of this. Are we going to learn about this? And then Alex Kurtzman just says, everything will make sense by the end.
We have nothing figured out. Do not look at the curtain. There is no man behind the curtain. As a matter of fact, there is no curtain. You're not in a room. We have no ideas. You don't exist. These
aren't the droids you're looking for. So yeah, just spoilers. They don't explain why how or why Michael Burnham in her time suit goes to 300 years in the past for World War III and moves an entire church full of parishioners to another planet 50,000 light years away with no spaceship, by the way.
Well, Gary, it's simple. She's a goddess. She needs worshipers. She needs people to love and adore her. That's why she did it.
that's why Josiah doesn't want to watch Star Trek Discovery season 2 because there's they have angel suits that can travel in time, and one is named Michael and the other is named Gabriel.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Michael and Gabriel were actually two black women of science who invented time suits in their spare time, by the way, in their spare time.
While they were sleeping.
as you do.
As you do. I'm working on one right now.
Right. In your spare
just
time.
My best inventing while I'm asleep.
Minor hobby.
There you go. Minor hobby. Yeah. Well, only when I'm doing science. When I'm doing science, I identify as a black woman. So there you go. The Big Red Bear. Canadian $5. I loved comics. Grant Morrison's X-Men killed comics for me back in the early aughts. I left it after he ruined my favorite characters in profound ways. You are not the only. You know what? There's a group of people who think that is the greatest thing ever written, and there's a group of people who think that's the day the X-Men died. And it's pretty black and white with that one. I was Big Red Bear. Never the biggest X-Men fan in the world. I'm a huge Wolverine fan, but X-Men kind of died for me after Age of Apocalypse, to be honest with you. I was so done back then in the 90s. Was it Age of Apocalypse? Yeah, Age of Apocalypse. I was kind of over it after that.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Smith, Canadian $2. Have you seen YouTube's Robin Hood? It's horrible. No, YouTube did it.
YouTube's Robin Hood?
YouTube's Robin Hood?
Oh my God, people keep making Robin Hood movies. It's terrible.
And they never do any good ones either.
No. I think the last good Robin Hood movie was Robin Hood Men in Tights. Tights. By the way, hi Anna. I hope everything is going well for you.
Oh, hey, what's up? How is she doing? Where is she? Is she in here?
Yeah,
hi, Anna.
She said Vulcan hand.
Live long and prosper. You okay?
Oh, the future is the future Robin Hood or whatever. Sherwood? Is that it? Like some weird animated.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's some sort of. Oh yeah, this is the one that has like the female Robin Hood or something, and it's like an animated show. I don't know. I was like, wow, that looks stupid, so I didn't watch it.
I'm with Anna. There's part of me that actually likes the Costner one because it's totally schlocky, but I liked it. I remember watching it like 3 times in the theater when it came out. Everything I do it for you. Anna, we're wrapping up, but do you want to come on for a second?
She's driving. She's driving.
Oh, she's driving. Okay.
Yeah.
Drive safe, Anna. We're thinking about you, and we'll give an update before we come off. So we got asked in the super chat, a specific comic here. Hey, I love buying your first comic is basically like losing your virginity. Everybody except for Comix Division remembers where it is, but Comix Division was the only guy who lost his virginity by getting roofied. Yeah.
True story. I'm surprised you actually brought that up, man. I told you that in confidence.
Well, hey, I was the one who roofied you. So I'm just kidding. Catherine Greer, $7. Hey, Gary, do you have a copy of Wonder Woman 252, first comic I got to read back in 1979? I do not, but I absolutely love this cover. Man, I miss those costumes right there. I want a copy now.
But Gary, they're problematic.
It's so problematic. I need a copy of that. I want the original art, for Christ's sake. I want to erase those things right there. The male gaze. You know what? That's what I might name my pop-up. I'm trying to think of a troll name.
The male gaze. Yeah.
The male gaze. The male gaze, a Comicsgate experience or something like that. Yeah.
Dude,
oh, geez.
You're gonna get run out of town at that point.
Oh, I hope so. I want to make my mark. Hey, listen, I moved to this town, and within 5 years, I opened a comic store here, and I lived here 6 months. 6 months when I opened a comic store here. And then in 5 years, I won Best of the Bay. So yeah, I want to get run out of town. I want to get I want people to literally chase me out of town. That would be great.
You should be run out of town. I mean,
I should be.
San
I don't
Francisco
belong here.
Sadly sucks now.
It does. Catherine Greer for $2. Empress of the Silver Snake. Yes. Catherine, I do not have that comic, unfortunately, but I bet you it can be had on eBay for super cheap. Let's take a look. We'll even look real quick. Why not? Are we keeping you up late, Josiah? Do you need to go?
I probably should be wrapping this up pretty soon.
Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done.
Yeah. No problem.
But I mean, dude, if you need to go, you can jump off whenever you want. It's all good. Yeah, $3 on eBay. $3. Jolton Burrow, today's comics make things like old Jason Blood, Etrigan stories look brilliant. Yeah, the demon. At least he had actual characters with arcs and good stories. Thank you for the $5, Joel. And you are right. Nicholas Horton, Prince of Thieves was good. Best Robin Hood movie. The best Robin Hood movie is the one with oh my God, I'm blanking. The old one.
Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Errol Flynn is the best Robin Hood.
That is the best Robin Hood.
Yeah. Nothing else has come close to touching it. So
all right. We are gonna end with here. We'll do this article and we'll let Josiah go. And then we got to talk about who backed out of Comic-Con. So
oh boy.
Yeah. So I didn't catch this, or I would have.
When was this written? Let me see.
This ran on May 31st.
Okay.
This year. So it's like a month old, but you know, I wasn't looking for Lord of the Rings news, so that's why I didn't find it. In his Forbidden Fortress, the great unblinking eye of online shopping brooded. It was late 2017, and Amazon boss Jeff Bezos was looking upon his fledgling TV empire and despairing. Over at HBO, television magic was being conjured with Game of Thrones. Well, a couple of years make a big difference, don't they? Netflix had summoned forth a hit of its own in Stranger Things, and Amazon but Stranger Things is done. Like it's, you know what? It's not a hit if it's 3 seasons. That's good. That's solid.
Yeah.
That's not a hit.
Yeah.
And Amazon had somehow ended up playing streaming's very own motley jester. The company had spent millions on original programming, and it had won kind reviews for slight comedies, much as Marvelous Mrs. That's why, and handsome period fluff piece Zelda Fitzgerald biopic Z, the beginning of everything. Yet there were never going to strike fear into the hearts of Amazon rivals. So Bezos summoned his lieutenants and sent them forth on a new mission. The mandate of Jeff Bezos was clear: bring me Game of Thrones. 2 years later,
this article is written is really cringy.
It's terrible. God, I'm just trying to get through it. 2 years later, with smoke barely cleared from the Game of Thrones finale, all eyes huge and flaming or otherwise turn into the next big television fantasy blockbuster. The clear frontrunner in hype and budget is the Lord of the Rings prequel. Bezos commanded his minions to bring him. The $1 billion epic is set to begin filming in Edinburgh this August. That's first 2 news I'm hearing, and will chronicle events in Middle-earth thousands of years before Frodo's walking holiday to Mount Doom. Yet, though a return to Middle-earth will be hugely anticipated by fans of swords and dragons and magics and dwarves, etc., clouds have already gathered over the production. There are fears, in particular, that Amazon's desperation for a much-anticipated juggernaut with a potential to eclipse Game of Thrones and Stranger Things has led to a rush in the unseemly haste. Well, they have to. They have to make this by a certain amount of time. But so I don't know if they're going to bring that up. Question must be also asked regarding Amazon's belief that Tolkien's chaste realm has the potential to beat Game of Thrones. Well, again, season 8 and its own transgressive game. The entire point of Game of Thrones, early on at least, was Lord of the Rings for grown-ups. It is credible. It's Lord of the Rings for normies. It is credible for, the TV show was. It is credible for Lord of the Rings to be positioned as a rival to a show that explicitly set out to subvert Tolkien. Well, yeah, except if you do it right, it doesn't matter because it's a great story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have to try to copy Game of Thrones.
No, Game of Thrones was a copy of Tolkien.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is going to be a copy of a copy of a copy.
Oh my.
Expletives were obligatory on Game of Thrones, with Tolkien the closest to the air turning blue of Tom Bombadil singing suggestively about Old Man Willow. George R. Martin's saga amped up. He said Tom Bombadil singing suggestively about Old Man Willow. They're being funny. George R. Yeah, that's about as close as it gets.
Oh man.
George R. Martin's saga amped up the violence and sex too. Instead of, I don't know, there's lots of violence in Lord of the Rings. Instead of banners of Gondor flying in the wind, it was various intimate private parts flopping about. Now that's true. If you read the books, the show's got nothing on the books. Nothing. Zero.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Can a tale of wholesome hobbits with their hairy toes and second breakfast really compete? Yes, because it's better.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can make a good story without sex and violence having to be the primary things, you know? I mean, that's not what is automatically going to make a show good. So,
yeah. Yet such would seem to be Amazon's aim, to degree to which it is pursuing the Game of Thrones audience was underscored this month with new Game of Thrones writer and producer Brian Cogman, which isn't the bait. He's not the best thing from Game of Thrones. We're just going to say that. Brian Cogman stuff was to come on board as Lord of the Rings as a consultant. A consultant is fine. He will help bring to screen a series which is now confirmed as taking place in the second age of Middle-earth, millennia prior to the adventures of Frodo and Bilbo. Rumors the show will tell the origin story of Aragorn the Ranger. Viggo Mortensen in the Peter Jackson movies had been earlier scotched by Amazon Lord of the Rings Twitter feed. Scotched, like drinking? I don't know. In a strange game of virtual peekaboo, the corporation had posted a series of maps that gradually revealed the Second Age backdrop. That's cool. The bombshell of Cogman's involvement, meanwhile, dropped by none other than Game of Thrones writer George R. Martin on his blog, having nothing better to do, such as, for instance, completing his unfinished volumes of A Song of Ice and Fire. Thank you, writer. Martin penned a long think piece reflecting on the end of Game of Thrones and looking to the future. I've got to probably do a video on that. Amazon scooped up Brian Cogman and put him to work on developing shows of his own, as well as developing out on their big Tolkien project. As relayed by Martin, this sounded like a matter of fact.
Big Tolkien project?
Big Tolkien. Yes, Tolkien. Well, we might get some of that too. Amazon later denied rumors Cogman was taking over Lord of the Rings as showrunner. Whoa. Okay.
Wait,
he was
who
merely
was?
Cogman.
Oh, wow.
Brian Cogman. Yeah. He was merely joining as a he's not taking over as showrunner. He is merely joining as a consultant. Still, the announcement set bells clanging. Shooting on Lord of the Rings is to begin in 3 months. So script, casting, etc. should already be locked down. But if everything is in place, why would Amazon require Cogman? And why, for that matter, did the Amazon executive who's negotiated the license with the Tolkien estate, Sharon Taltua, abruptly step down from her position as head of the genre programming at the start of May? I didn't know this. A little over 2 years since her hiring. Yagadu, it is interesting to note, has been spending her spare time watching Game of Thrones and defending its controversial truncated conclusion. Oh boy.
Oh geez.
I agree. It too was rushed, she tweeted, but still enjoyed it and think very highly of the two and their talented team. Let's move on, people. Life is too short. No, it's not.
Damage control.
Oh man.
Concerns over Lord of the Rings on Amazon go back to the unusual, restrictive, and one-sided deal company had signed. The rights to Middle-earth cost a record-shattering $250 million. On top of that, Amazon would agree to commence production within 2 years or forfeit the license. The widespread understanding at the time was that Amazon had actively pursued Tolkien in a bid to have Game of Thrones of its own. Actually, there was an old-fashioned bidding war, albeit one of the other players quickly folded out. HBO having originally snapped up Game of Thrones for a bargain bin $10 million. Refusing to participate, Netflix declined to go further than $100 million, and Apple, arguably with a bigger war chest even than Amazon, dropped out too. Perhaps they were dissuaded by the huge cost, or maybe they found other aspects of the agreement prohibitive. In addition to committing to beginning production within 24 months, Amazon had to pledge to a minimum $100 million per series budget. Yeah, so it had to look good. The Hollywood Reporter has estimated all-in costs for the 5 planned seasons could ultimately top out at $1 billion. The dwarves the 90 million HBO is thought to have spent on Game of Thrones, concluding 6 episodes. Jesus Christ. So this is why Christopher Tolkien signed this deal. It was a sweet fucking deal. So we're guaranteed 100 million per season starting, and they have to start in 24 months. And if they don't, he gets to keep his money, and it doesn't get made. So it guarantees they'll at least try to make it look good. And yeah, that's a pretty genius deal. Once the deal was sealed, the now departed Yagadu's first move was to hire first-time J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay as showrunners. This was regarded as a surprise within the industry. The duo's previous experience was writing first draft scripts for Star Trek Beyond and the critically panned Godzilla King of Monsters. Wah, wah, wah.
Yikes.
The most positive thing anyone could say about the appointment was that Payne, as practicing Mormon, probably shared Tolkien's classically Christian worldview. Okay. But that's just one guy. That's it. You Christians ruin everything, Josiah. The project is, I'm just kidding. No, actually, we can't have some nihilist asshole writing fucking Tolkien.
You can't.
The project has been read in mystery. Last month, the website Middle Earth News reported Lord of the Rings is to be the first long-term tenant of recently opened 160,000 square foot studio, Port Length, Edinburgh. Several scenes from Avengers were shot there. Visions, Wine of Scotland. Jesus Christ, this thing goes on forever. Hang on. I'm just going to skim for the rest out. You got it. Simon's Tolkien. Later, he stated he wouldn't have a role. I'm not involved at all in the Lord of the Rings series. I understand how my name could come up. He's talking about Peter Jackson. Not involved. McKellen is not going to. So we'll see. It looks like Brian Cogman is... given the success of Game of Thrones, I can't imagine Brian Cogman would be a bad hire. There's always a chance that creative differences will just have to wait. There's no casting. No casting at all.
No.
So yeah, I might do a video on that because that takes time to unpack right there. That's pretty interesting news there.
So
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it doesn't really sound like we have very many stellar people that are involved with this yet. So,
well, it's going to be 25% different, and what we're getting is Millennial Earth rather than Middle Earth.
Yeah.
So, real quick, Warner Brothers backed out of Comic-Con. Sony backed out of Comic-Con. People are freaking out saying Comic-Con's dead. No, Hollywood's dead. So that's where we're ending with this. The Hollywood Blockbuster is dead. Sony is basically, they're up to something. Sony is up to something because the deal is up with Marvel. So yeah, this is the last Tom Holland Marvel film unless the deal gets re-upped, and we have heard zero. I think they're in negotiations right now. And honestly, they don't have any. I think they took it in the shorts with Men in Black. They really didn't have anything to present other than who does Jumanji? Is it Universal or Sony?
Universal, I think.
Yeah, Universal's like healthy. They have the Fast and the Furious. They have Jumanji. Yeah. They're a healthy company.
Man.
Warner Brothers backed out because of JJ. JJ took over. He's going to do a hard reset again. And I'm sorry, DC fans. I don't think your universe is ever going to take off. I don't think so. I think you can't restart something twice and it succeed, especially with J.J. Abrams involved. You'll get a lot of fluff in the beginning.
Yeah.
But don't you? If you don't think this deal was in the plan, was in the works for a long time. Excuse me. I'm going to get a drink of water. Matthew Reeves directed what movie? Cloverfield. Matthew Reeves is connected to J.J. Abrams. Look at how many people now involved in franchises have connections to J.J. Abrams. He's taking over Hollywood, and this is bad news. He will end it. The blockbuster, thank God he's not involved in Marvel in any way, shape, or form, except for writing a comic book with his kid. Yeah. So Eric K, $2. Errol Flynn, Basil Rathbone did all the stunts. I freaking love goddamn Robin Hood. I was watching it the other day on I forgot what I was watching on, but I was watching it the other day. Thank you, Eric K, for the $2. Prince of Thieves was good. Best Robin Hood movie, says Nicholas Horton. I liked it, but it wasn't the best. Catherine Greer, $5. Found Do Androids Dream of Electrical Sheep Omnibus. There you go, for $12.49. P.S.
Nice.
I hope you like Dune. One of my favorite books. Catherine, I will love it. I will love it, Catherine. All right, so we're going to wrap things up right there. Josiah's got to go to bed, and so does Comix Division. So, guys, tell us about Josiah. Tell us about your channel and where we can find you streaming and stuff.
Yeah, if you want to go check out my channel, JosiahRises, I cover movie news, and that's kind of the main thing that I do with my channel. But I obviously cover the movie news without the SJW slant that a lot of the mainstream media does. So feel free to go check me out there if you want to hear my opinions on things that are happening in the entertainment business. And I just want to also say thanks, Gary, for having me on. I really do appreciate it. So thanks.
You're welcome, man. I'm glad to have you back. I'm sorry it took so long.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
You're welcome back anytime, brother. Anytime.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah. Comix Division. Tell us about your channel.
Woo. Let's see here. I'm going to do the link dump for everyone. There you go. That way you have everything. Geez, as far as what I talk about on YouTube these days, it's whatever, I kind of feel like talking about lately. It's been the whole, kerfluffle that's been going on with YouTube and Google and, that kind of stuff. But I originally started my channel talking about comic books. And, well, as you guys probably know, my feelings about comic books these days. So, yeah, I talk about, entertainment stuff. I enjoy movies. I'm tired, just like everybody else, of seeing our entertainment being ruined. So, that's also stuff I cover.
Awesome. Did I say electrical sheep? And then somebody's going, oh my God, he said it's electric sheep. Sigh, LOL. It's electric. God, I love fandom. I really do. Hey, come on a live stream anytime, talk 4 hours and get everything right, please. I'd love to see it happen. But we don't need to delete their comments. It's fine. They can we can let them speak. This is just nerds being nerds. It's all good.
Yeah.
But
nerds are toxic now.
They're so toxic.
So toxic.
It's do robots dream of make believe goats? I don't know. I was just trying to help the goat over the fence.
Do robots bugger sheep?
Do robots bugger sheep? That's the sequel.
So Cleveland, why you wanting my link to OK Cupid? Are you cruising for some ass?
He wants your Tinder link. That's what he wants.
I think he's probably more wanting the Grinder link.
Brad Noble Super 8 was horrible. It was god awful.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I never understood why there's people that think that movie is good. I don't get it.
I think I remember seeing the trailer and everyone was like making out like it's gonna be the next ET or something.
Yeah.
And then it came out and nobody talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, there was a Toxic Avenger comic by Troma and Lloyd Kaufman. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I probably, you know what? I was saying Brienne of Tarth. I was saying her name wrong for like half a season because I have a niece named Brienne. So I was thinking of Brienne all the time. Yeah, happens all the time, man. But I've read it a lot. And Blade Runner is one of my all-time favorite movies. And God, that was one of the first or second book I read all the way through when I was a kid. It was Hitchhiker, and then and then Blade Runner came out. I bought the book, and I'm like, the book's not anything like the movie. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's really not.
It was. So yeah, so we will wrap it up right there. She said, Nerdrotic, you say my name wrong. Well, tell me how to say your name. The Cinema Queen. Am I saying that wrong?
It's Kalia.
Kalia.
I got it wrong too, dude. It's
yeah. Well, if that's the thing is, if people didn't hear me pronouncing my last name, you would get that wrong too. I have to read a lot of names, and I'm not going to get everything right. I'm not here. It's all about progress, not perfection here at Nerdrotic. But yeah, but I seem to be doing okay. So I'm not too worried about it. And everybody, please go to nerdrotic.com for my live stream schedule. The next live stream will be Sunday night with Doomcock. We will be doing the Inquisition. Of course, we're back doing Exozone on Thursdays this week. Inquisition's on Doomcock's channel. Exozone is on Nerdrotic Live. Of course, the Monday nooner. I'm good. So I skip Monday nooners if I do Inquisition on my channel on Sunday, because it's like live streaming back to back, and you guys will get sick of me mispronouncing the title of a book. I'm sure definitely unsub after that. Yeah. And then what else? We got something. Oh, Comic-Con's coming up. Comic-Con is going to be a big deal. We're going to be live streaming quite a bit. I think I have a base of operations now. Thanks to a certain person, which I don't know if he wants me thanking him out loud yet. I better ask first. But we're hooked up. And I got my pass right here. So we are good to go, and we're going to do a meetup, and we're going to meet up. And then after that, it's the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, which I'm sure is going to be very exciting. And
especially with that shirt you're going to be wearing.
Yes, Justice for Anas. Justice for Anas. And that is the other video I'm working on right now, which is the Star Trek Discovery lawsuit plagiarism timeline. And that is my love letter to CBS and to Anas Abdin all at once. So everybody have a great night. Please subscribe to Josiah and Comix Division, and we will all see you soon. May the free folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.